Welcome to the Uninvited podcast. We are back, y'all, where we talk about things that will probably not get you invited to your next dinner party.
Okay.
With us, we got Ansy Defay in the building.
What up?
We got Dwayne Hill
What's
in
up?
the building. Yeah. So let's get right into it, man. Dick-sucking demons are running rampant in the church, causing people to have these outbursts of or manifestations of oral sex.
Which church is this?
And getting penetrated.
I need addresses. Where's this
Getting
church?
penetrated deeply
So
by
the-
demons.
These-
So,
these-
Which, no, where's
wait,
the church?
wait. Before we even say anything,
All right.
I'm going to play you the video.
all right, let me see this video.
And y'all gentlemen got to explain this to me.
All right.
Because, yo, I don't know what the hell's going on anymore. But go ahead. Yo, play it from the top. Play it from the top. Play- Look at this.
Look at demon. Look, oral sex. Oral sex, demon. You see oral sex? Look, oral sex. Look. You oral sex.
She's choking.
Oral sex. Let that sperm of that man out. Out.
You see that? You see how she spit out?
Out. Let go. Let go.
Oh. Oh, she might have something else than a demon. That's it might be.
Alright, we're gonna fast forward.
Yeah, yeah.
Passes out.
Come up from the private part.
Then he starts spraying her with water in her private part.
So he's spraying it with water
I
in
did
the
not
private
see
part.
this.
Yep. It's burning.
And then later on, she starts talking about how white stuff came out. She went to the bathroom.
Oh, come on, somebody. After I spray with the water.
So the water went through the pants.
Apparently.
Let's break it down. The water went through the pants, through her underwear, in her
Into-
vagina, and had enough potency to extract white stuff.
It's a new douche.
Okay,
It's a church douche.
And you douche. Yo,
And
play,
if what-
play it from the top, right? Notice something that he said.
Okay.
He said, like the very top, he was like, she said demon. Watch what he said.
Look at demon. Look, oral sex.
What?
Oral sex, demon. You see oral sex? Look, oral sex. Look. You oral sex. Use oral sex. Let that sperm of that man out.
Okay, stop. First he said demon, then he goes, let the sperm of the man out. So whose dick was she sucking? The demon or Deacon Brown? you see what I'm saying? So first you say demon, so it relieves her of the responsibility, right, of her going out and sucking dick or liking to suck dick.
Yeah.
Right? Then you say now the demon of the man. And then after that you say demon again. So now you relieve her of the responsibility of she just likes to suck dick.
Yeah.
Right? And now she wants deliverance. So why not say, I just like to suck dick and something's wrong because I like it too much.
Yeah.
And
Well-
maybe I need deliverance from that. You know what I'm saying? Or like, what's up with the, like, who's the demon? Yo, you guys got to explain this to me. Who's the demon that's running rampant every week? It's an episode with her.
Yeah, it's kind of her.
Well,
She's it's her. Look in the mirror. Look in the
No,
look
but
in
you
the,
see him say man, right?
Yeah.
Am I tripping?
no, he
First
did.
he
That's
said
what
man,
said.
and then he said demon.
Now, here's a question. All this manifestation that we just witnessed in this video, was it sex with a demon or was it sex with a man? Or how is this woman living her life? And obviously she's in the church. She's in the church enough
I'm gonna need some more
to
water.
where there's some emotional reaction where she feels conflicted about whether it's a man or a demon. She feels conflicted about having sex or else sex with this entity.
Thank you, sir.
The question is, if it's a demon and it happened while she was sleeping, did she have any control over it? Now, is that what we're hearing? Because what we heard, like the pastor said, a man. Is she claiming she was raped? It doesn't sound like she's claiming she was raped. And it sounds like this is something she was indulging in, like Dwayne was mentioning it. I think a lot of times, like you said, and we talked about a little bit before we started the podcast, we find mechanisms to absolve ourselves of our choices. And in the church, especially when it comes to issues of sex, when it comes to issues of morality, it's way easier for people to forgive you if you say the devil made me do it than if you said I made the choice, whether the choice is wrong or right.
Well, I mean, that's the big issue in many churches of that ilk, because they'll say, "Oh, well, it was the devil." Like John Gray. There was a pastor named John Gray.
Oh, Pastor John Gray.
Pastor John Gray.
Yeah.
He said that
about
there
his
was
whole scandal and stuff.
scandal,
like that.
and his wife is getting up.
Well,
He's like,
alleged scandal.
Alleged. He's like, well, I had to tell that demon. I'm like, dog, the demon's sitting right next to you. He's like he himself, like nobody puts a gun to anybody's head and says, okay.
Yo, that's my thing though, right?
Yeah.
Like, yo, nobody takes responsibility, dude. Like, you want to do it. Don't say demon now. You want it.
Well,
like, all right, so here's the question. Let me ask you this question real quick while it's on my mind fresh. Can a demon come and possess you outside of your desire to wanting to do that thing?
What is your
Whatever
mental
it may be.
capacity? What is your spiritual education? What is your awareness of spiritual things? It'll be very, very difficult for Dwayne to get out of here, take a gun and shoot somebody and say the devil made him do it. The people in this room won't believe that.
Right.
Why? Because we know who Dwayne is.
Right.
We know what Dwayne knows. We know his capacity. Now, someone who's much younger, let's say 11 years old, 12 years old, living in a situation where they see a lot of violence, living in a situation where they don't have any spiritual understanding or upbringing or any discipline or responsibility for what they've already done, they grab a gun and kill somebody and then find out to say something in a voice told them to do it, I'd probably be more inclined to believe that's a true situation. But even with that, we're giving the devil way too much credit.
Yeah.
No, of course.
Way too much credit.
Anytime the devil was moving, anytime in Scripture, it was always augmenting what was already there. So you have somebody like Judas Iscariot, where he was already giving up Jesus anyway. But then you just like, well, the devil just came into him to do what was already going to be done by him anyway, just to make it worse. But it's never been, I totally don't want to do this, and then the devil made me do it. No, it's the intent is already there. You're already going to do that thing anyway. And then I think in this case, she wanted whatever was happening, and then she just got to church and decided to act out and say, there was a bit where, there's sin. There's no talking about sin. Whenever we have to talk about sin, because sin is something that's a personal thing. If I choose to sin, it's because I chose to do it. But it makes me look like a bad guy if I say, you know what, I just wanted to cheat on my wife because those buns was just out there. I had to do it. But if I say the devil made me do it, that kind of absolves me of a little.
Yeah, and there's a stigma to it, especially those churches that are extra spiritual. Those churches that have, deliverance service every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. In a church like that, even if you're contrite and you've turned your life around, like we said earlier, it's much more difficult for you to say, hey, I did it because I wanted to. I'm not doing that anymore because I don't want to. That would be less accepted than you saying the devil.
Did you say, Dwayne, deliverance is a personal thing? Did I hear you right? Oh, no.
No. I said. When it comes to sin,
Okay.
that's a personal thing. You sin because at that point, whatever God says on the subject is not good enough, and I'm gonna go out and do what I've chosen to do. But there's nobody putting a gun to your head.
Yeah, because I wanted to tie it with what you said, like, or ask a question for what you said. It's like, all right, so you have that, right? It's your sin is personal. So in deliverance service, like they have a bunch of deliverance service. But side note, you realize it's a bunch of, I don't know where he's from. Is that an African church?
I'm thinking there's some
Spanish
Caribbean
church,
thing
right?
going on.
Caribbean church. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, I'll come back to that. But
Boy.
but like, yo, son, like you see all this deliverance service, right? Like, how are you sure that somebody's really delivered?
You're not. It's not for you to be sure of not. Even Jesus Christ, when you read the Bible and you understand those guys that got delivered, he told them to watch and to make sure they don't open themselves up for these things again. So it's not something that anyone here can say, okay, Space had a demon, he's delivered, he's okay now. No.
But that's how it's marketed, though.
Of course,
It's marketed like, you see that?
when you see, and I want
leg is
to
raised.
I want to talk about this
I've
video.
I've never seen a leg raised. Well, I've seen a leg raised on TV.
No, I want to talk about this particular video.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure the camera was rolling on a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
But this particular video, why? It's salacious. It has the sex thing. You have the woman sticking her tongue out. You have the pastor spraying the private parts. Let's not laugh. This pastor has found the greatest understanding of marketing that I've seen from the church in a while. Any publicity is good publicity. So somebody having conflict with what they're doing in their lives, somebody whose daughter is running around being a hoe in the street, someone who's got 5 different baby daddy and don't want to have a 6th, they're gonna go to this church thinking that this guy's gonna help them out.
Right.
And that's what I see in this. If anything, if we really take care for our people in our congregation and the ones we are ministering to, I don't believe this is something that needs to be marketed, and I'm using that word specifically that way. This woman, let's say everything we saw was 100% true. She's being taken advantage of. And that doesn't sit well with me.
All right, so let me say this then. Do you believe that this happened?
I believe she was sucking dick.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I believe
that's what
that.
you said, right?
Yeah, and I also believe that she might have been conflicted about it. And I believe this exercise makes her believe she doesn't have to anymore, but I don't think this exercise is necessary.
Yeah, I mean, the scriptures themselves are all about personal responsibility when it comes to your actions. There's nothing at no point where they're saying, "Oh, well, the devil had total agency over your entire body and made you suck a dick." No, you did it because sucking a dick was good for her at that point. That's just how it happened. You're not gonna be like.
So then why not say, "I enjoyed it"?
Because you don't get the same level of care and forgiveness, and nobody invites you after you tell them you like sucking dick.
But
well,
if
here we go.
But if they're telling the truth, once she says that, there's going to be like 17 other sisters be like, "Well, yeah, but let's
we
help
like
you
sucking
with that."
dick too, like a whole sucking dick meeting.
Yeah,
like
but
meeting.
yeah, but that's
Everybody
sin.
likes-
So let me help you. Let me come alongside you and help you with that. Because that's not what we're supposed to be doing.
But check it though, right?
Because that's a good demon to have if you're married.
You also yo.
It's a great demon. No, as a matter of fact, hold up. Because I saw this video. Before I got here. I showed my wife the video, but I made sure while he was praying over the lady to cover her ears, so just in case she had it, it didn't go anywhere. Stay, suck dick demon. I love you. Suck dick demon. Stay here today. Good.
As long as you eat ass, then we good.
Okay.
As long as you return the favor, then she good.
Yeah, please stay. Come.
Yeah, yo, dude, it's crazy to me because all right, is this real? Did this really happen to her? Right? You believe that she did suck dick? Okay, right? Now the fact that she said it too, I can't help to think that you don't think these demons or these I said demons. These deacons or pastor even
take advantage of the demon they have.
Of course, man. If somebody, a woman come up there and telling you, "I like to suck dick," you cannot tell me that picture.
I gotta stop you right now. Let me tell you why I gotta stop you. Why are you asking such a ridiculous question?
You know what I'm saying?
all know that there are pastors and ministers who take advantage of women in the church.
Right.
That's been going on since the church started.
No, but I just gotta let the public know, like, what's really the mentality behind it. Like, yo, a woman comes to you and say, yeah, I'm I have a sucking dick problem, right? As a pastor, what the hell are you gonna do? You're gonna pray for her, or you're gonna think about how she can suck your dick?
Well, I'll tell you this. As a married man,
you know what I'm saying?
Let's say I was that particular pastor, and this woman comes to me in confidence or saying, "Hey, I have a problem with sucking dick, and I think I have a demon." First thing I got to do, and this is just to protect myself, and to protect those around me too. That's something that you want to bring in another woman who you believe is able to minister unto that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the fact that this was done this way here. Whether you believe it's real or not, I believe there's a lot of drama and acting here.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
let's take it to the other extreme. Let's say this woman's really conflicted. She really has this problem. And we take the demon part out of it because that takes it out of the realm of what we. I want to say that supernatural angle. It's good for the video, but let's talk about someone who's engaging in sex or unmarried sex or fornication, and they want to stop. How do you, as a minister, make sure that happens? Is it you put them in a room, close the door behind you, and see what happens? That's the dumbest thing in the world.
Right, of course.
What you do is you make sure that there's another sister there. You make sure that a sister who's experienced and knowledgeable in the faith, and we sit down there and find out what were the circumstances that brought you here. Because before we start blaming the devil, and like we've been talking about since the podcast started, what was your part in all this? Because your part is the part that matters.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and also the demon angle sometimes can complicate a situation. Sometimes it's kind of cut and dry, where you just have to tell somebody, well, repent and believe. You know, there's no real demon involved in this. You have a sin issue. We all have a sin nature. There's certain things that are in the Bible that you don't like. There's certain sins that you do like. Repent and believe.
Right. So check this though. Then my question would be, what would be the purpose? Let's say the demon came in to her and causing all this stuff, right? Let's say all these things really happened. What would be the purpose of a demon doing that?
Well, I mean, I can answer that pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like, for those of us who believe in spiritual warfare, believe in, the Pentecostal or the Judeo-Christian understanding of demons, angels, and the Holy Spirit and stuff, there's only one thing demons and the devil want. Is for the destruction of you.
Right.
So whether it's to bring her to a place where she could get a disease that will take her life, whether it's to put her in a situation where a man is abusing her, it's all about the devil comes to do what?
Right, still kill and destroy. Right.
So if that's the case, that's all inside of that agenda. Some people do it with smoking. Some people do it with drinking. Some people with sex. Anything that you overindulge in, you open yourself up to, let's say, demons or being led astray. I think that was the whole purpose. And again, this video being so salacious and all of this, the reason is because all of that's mixed into the context. Those who actually had dealing with sex addiction and stuff like that will look at that and go, man, do I need that pastor to help me? Or those who've overcome those will say, nah, she just needs to make a choice. Or those who have kids and children and they're fearful for what their kids are doing are going to say, man, how do I make sure this doesn't happen to my kid or my daughter?
Right. I mean, and also it could be evidenced by like a deeper issue. So why is this person turning to sex for whatever comfort they're looking? Same thing with food. Same thing with any other addiction. There's
any
always
vice.
Like a root. There's always like a root issue of why those situations occur. She might be doing it for acceptance. She might have believed that, she might have believed that in order for a man to accept me, I got to do all of these things. So that's, I guess that's where deliverance would come in, finding out what that root cause is, and then working on that, which could take a while.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I get all of that. It's just, I understand it. I could say that's what I should say. I understand the points, and I understand where it as far as like for example, Ansy, when you talked about depending on people's level of thinking or level of thought, as far as what do they understand spiritually? You know what I'm saying? Do this stuff actually happen in the spirit world? Are demons doing that, or is there a name for it, or? Like, you know, what's like what how like for example, like you said, if a demon is having sex with her, then she can't get pregnant. She can't have a disease, right? It can't have a physical reaction on her because it's just happening in the spirit. So how would it destroy her?
This is the thing, though. It doesn't end there.
Yeah.
See, that's the part that makes this video a little bit disingenuous to me. If that was the only case, if a spiritual being that's not part of this physical world came and put his dick in her mouth, what trouble would that really be?
Come on, man.
Let's keep it 100.
Right. If it's not right.
Let's keep it 100. So what happened? So what?
Right.
All right, I just like.
But what happens after that is where the problem is.
So what do you think happened? What do you think the trickle effect is after that?
Obviously, whatever happens in the spiritual realm manifests itself in the physical
in the natural,
realm,
right.
if we so choose and let it happen.
So what do you think is the result of a demon putting his dick in her mouth and then it manifesting in the natural? What would that result look like?
Well, it depends on the dude. That dude might be really happy with that.
So it's actually okay. So now we're
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
so now it is a dude.
But I mean, they did say penis, and the pastor did say man. And again, I would probably bet a large sum of money if I was a betting man that this is not. It's much easier for her to say a spiritual demon did that to her, or for her to come and say, I'm conflicted. I've been having sex with this man who's not my husband for the last 10 years, and I'm sucking his dick. It'd be a lot easier for her to say I got a problem with a demon.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You think that's because of the peer pressure of the church, man? That people feel like they got
if it was just peer pressure,
all that stuff,
it'd be
man.
okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But there's a judgmental thing going on.
Judgment, right.
But
That's the word.
it's not even a right judgment though, because at least if you over hyper spiritualize it and you say, oh, it's a demon, you never get to the real issue of I just kind of like this behavior and I haven't repented of it. And that's and I think that's the issue, because that's not as it's not as like it's not as good for TV. It's like well, I have a repentance issue, I have a gospel issue. And a lot of these churches don't really do the gospel that well anyway. So people will come in and be like, oh, it's a demon. We got to cast this demon out of you. And they'll be fine for about 2 days. And then it'll come back and they'll be doing the same thing. So.
And let's not get it twisted. There are forces out there that are spiritual.
Right.
I'll be the one to put that out there. There are for us who believe and those who, and I don't even have to believe. I've seen a lot of this with my own two eyes. I didn't need to use faith. But what I will say,
you got to tell me some stuff.
No, definitely. I will tell you that I've seen demons manifest. Okay. Not people coming to pretend about sucking dick, about demon people making choices to listen to that voice. Because remember, like if you close your eyes and you talk, there's a voice.
Yeah,
that's your spiritual. All right. But there are other voices talking to you too. Maybe more subtly, maybe in certain situations. But in her particular case, what I will say is that, and Dwayne said it best, I think, it's a choice that we have to make. Whether it's before or after, whether you're in the midst of it, are you going to choose to stop the behavior? Or is it after the fact? Okay, I did this. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't like the way it makes me feel after the fact. Or for those who want to be living their lives according to the word, like how we've been brought up and understood, you have to guard yourself against those things. And that's what the word says: cast down every thought, every imagination, all sin, all fornication, all dick sucking, all thievery, all things started with a thought that you didn't shut down.
Well, and I mean, and that's what it comes down to. Wherever you land on denominational, like mine are more of like the mainline, like Baptist. We don't really deal with that. Let's like there's like a word in there somewhere. So we'll have great problems when Jesus is going out casting out demons. Like how do you deal with that? Like somebody Pentecostal will be like, yeah, that's totally, we deal with that every day. Somebody in those religions or no part of it, like, we don't really deal with that. And I also like to say our producers being very, very unprofessional, because every time we say dick sucking, he starts laughing.
What are you doing?
Dick sucking, Sean. Get it out of your system. Get it out of your system, sir. Okay, so that's all I have to say.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yo, it's funny because I'm hearing you guys say some stuff with this sparking some points because, man, the education of the church is a little funny, man.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like how we pick and choose what we choose to tell people, and what we decide to hold back. It's hilarious to me because I think 99% of churches, well, I can't say 99%, a great percent. Let me start there.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say a great percent. A great percent of churches are afraid of this sexual talk,
mm-hmm.
right? Like, I bet you right now, if people was to watch this, they're a little bit uncomfortable with how many times all of us said dick.
Yes, they would be.
Richard,
Right
because they're
now,
like you say
I promise
dick,
you.
they're like, oh,
I promise
you
you.
say dick.
Some of my folks even
you know what I'm saying?
they're gonna, when they see this podcast, unsee. What was that? But
why are people so
no,
uncomfortable
because
with this
it's
stuff, man?
it's very simple. Sometimes we're too spiritual. Sometimes we're so spiritual we are of no earthly good. We don't talk about sex. We don't talk about urges. We don't talk about drinking. We don't talk about drugs.
Mm-hmm.
But we're quick to condemn those people that have issues with those things.
Right.
We're quick to shun those people who have issues with those things.
Right.
But as a church, as a whole, those issues don't ever get discussed. And they're only discussed in the context of you messed up, and so now,
right, exactly.
So now we going to do our best to help you. And once you've created that line where we talk about it only when you messed up, and then once you've also created that line that we'll forgive you if the devil made you do it, but we won't forgive you if you just made a bad choice. Mm-hmm. That's where.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's
man.
that's tough.
That's like, come on,
which is why when you are 17 or 18 years old, or like this woman, it's much easier to say there was a demon or a devil.
All right, you see, from that perspective, I can empathize with her a little bit more.
I do. I feel bad.
You see what I'm saying?
I actually really do.
I could from that perspective alone,
because she probably does not want to live that lifestyle that she's been.
You know
living.
what I'm saying? But I don't know about that. I think she might want. I think she might really like it, but I think she might just be embarrassed.
Yeah, but
so she might just be like, "Well, damn, I can't say that in church." You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna get judged, but I really like this thing.
The problem is she's not gonna get help in the end. So you remember David in 1 Samuel? I think it was around 10, where Nathan goes up to him and he tells him a story, and he says you are the man. Yeah. He doesn't say a demon made you do it. Mm-hmm. He said you did that.
Yeah.
And then at that point he gets wrecked and be like, yeah, I did do that. So that's where you begin to see a change. Mm-hmm. With that, what do? They find out, like a lot of churches, they find out you're in sin. What do? They lock you up in a room and they start casting out demons. I'm like, the demon you need to cast out is the one you're looking at. Mm. Has nothing to do with anybody. You don't need to cast out the oral sex demon or the sex demon. Dwayne, call me by name. Dwayne, it's your fault. That's the demon you got to cast out.
You know what? If that was the approach, I would respect that a lot more.
Yeah,
because then you take him some type of responsibility, right?
Yeah, but see, here's the thing.
But I do get your
that
point.
Doesn't get celebrated.
Hard. Yeah, right.
It should be.
Yeah,
that should be celebrated the most, but that doesn't get celebrated.
Yeah.
What gets celebrated, what gets the airplay, what gets the Facebook posting is that stuff. Nobody's going to get a Facebook posting with 3 guys sitting here and say, hey, I used to drink way too much. One day I looked up, I decided it's not right for me or what I want to do in my life, I'm going to stop it. That doesn't get celebrated. Right. That doesn't get the airplay because you can't get 1,000 hits on that.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't sell movies.
So that's where we're at, right? With the church.
That's where we are.
We've
I
been
mean-
there a long time.
I know
we've
we
been
are.
a long time.
I'm just about to go there right now. Like
Long time.
that's where
because
we
there's
at.
a lot of stuff we won't
We're
even talk
about
about.
We're about the views now.
Yeah, we'll say it's a demon, it's a demon, it's a demon, but you'll never talk about that person not taking care of his kids.
Ooh, that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just how it works. It's a horrible thing.
Yo, that's just kind of crazy to me, man. Because I'm looking at her. I'm just like, well, damn. It's embarrassing. At first, I'm embarrassed for her. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, you got balls to well, in her case, no, she don't got balls, but I mean, she got whatever she has to be able to get up there and just say and open her mouth like that too. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's the part.
Stop.
What you mean? Yo, I didn't do it. She did it.
No, but
he said it. I'm
Yo. No, but look, no, seriously. In all seriousness,
all right, sorry.
if I would be highly embarrassed if that was my aunt.
oh,
You know what I'm saying? Like, no, think
can't
about
do
it.
that.
Think about it. You gotta put yourself in her shoes, right?
can't
Like,
shame
Yeah, but-
if that's your family member.
but here's the thing.
dude, I'm ducking out of church.
No,
I'm like,
no,
yo,
but
what the?
but let's look at it. Let's look at it from her point of view. Whatever it is, she wants out. She really wants out, and she's willing to get her clothes sprayed with whatever liquid that was. She's willing.
Yo,
to,
do you think that worked?
Well, maybe it was all a scam to make money.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
it
thank
could
you,
be. I
thank
think
you.
it
know?
You get good offerings in the church.
Thank you.
Is
Yeah.
that a possibility?
Yeah, that's a
possibility.
possi-
About that possibility.
Well, here's the thing.
Obvious one to me, but no one here on the panel was talking about it. I just thought
Money. All right,
apologize. Sorry.
word. So let's talk about the money, right?
Yeah.
Did the spray work?
I don't believe this spray works.
Hey.
Because the spray went through to mad layers, yo.
Hey.
I
Like,
don't believe this.
Hey.
spray
like I would understand if her pants was pulled down and you direct contact, but like, yo, that went
works.
through
Yeah,
a lot of
that's
layers.
a little much.
Hey, I got some prayer claw from Reverend Ike back in like '89. It's still in my house today, and it's been working. I felt the spirit when I left my house.
He
'cause
said
I got-
Reverend Ike.
Yo.
Yo, took it back, yo.
I got that.
You
I got that Reverend.
You calling names out now.
Yo, I got that Reverend Ike prayer cough, man. It's
Yo, you bought
Yo.
it though?
No, my grandmother
I
did. My
used to
grandmother, he had just mad
Yo,
stuff.
Reverend
just in
Ike
the
was
house.
making money. Yo.
I
make
used,
it dope.
I used to see that stuff every night, man, and laugh all the time, yo. Just be like, look at this
But
guy,
see,
yo.
this is the thing. I've been like,
Don't
like,
be on the table. Don't
like,
be on the table.
oh my bad.
Yeah,
This is the
yeah.
thing. I've been watching. I've been staying up late, and every now and again, I'm watching TBN, and I'm watching. There's certain programs that are designed to extrapolate money from you.
Yeah.
They are, because listen, let's be real.
Yo, all right. Let me. All right, just take a quick commercial. Quick commercial. Here's the deal. At the end, yo, look. It's terrible. I know what you're about to say. You're about to go on the whole thing, right? I'm not mad at their hustle though.
No,
I
wait.
can't be mad.
Wait, let me
Here's why.
finish.
Here's why.
Let me finish.
Here's why.
Yeah.
You fall for it.
No. Let me finish. I'm
If I
agreeing
can,
with
if
you.
I can make $2,500
look,
off of you,
people will. We.
What do you think
we
I'm gonna
here.
do?
We are not following.
I'm gonna sell you socks
Look,
and call them holy
people
Moses socks,
will.
whatever.
I want everyone to listen carefully. People will give you more money than you can steal.
Yeah.
All you have to do is frame it correctly.
Okay.
You're not stupid.
All right. So then, how do you frame it?
It's all a matter of perspective, isn't it?
So how do you frame it?
Holy water doesn't cost any money to make. Prayer call doesn't cost any money to make. Look, a lot of us got Caribbean backgrounds. We take some pictures of the poorest kids we find. Make sure they have the fly on their face.
Yeah, I like that detail. You said
and-
fly. Make sure.
Make sure they have the fly on their face. And, really chapped lips.
He said, make
Take
sure.
some pictures. Take some pictures of us holding them.
Yo, I can't. Hold on. He said fly on the face.
Right there next to the
And
eye.
really
Fly.
chapped-
One fly.
and
One
really
fly.
chapped
You don't want to go
lips.
overboard.
Yo,
And-
that's the picture you see
and-
all the time, yo.
Yes, it is.
Wait, why is it mad consistent like that, though?
Because the fly takes the poverty to another level, yo. Because you so poor. I think Trevor Noah talked about something like this. You so poor you don't have the energy to wave your hand off the fly. It's like that poverty takes it to another level. And then you just hold one of those really poor kids. You look into the camera and said, "We need your help," and you'll make as much money as you want.
Man. But you know what, though? Are you mad at their hustle, though? Enough people fall for it. They make their money.
I'm mad they're using God for it.
Huh?
I'm mad they're using God.
I
for
mean,
it.
what's new, though?
I
we
know
all-
it's gonna happen, and you've got to just crazy,
Even when you're
stupid
collecting an
people.
offering, you're using God. You collect an offering for the church. It's for a good cause, but you're still using God. Because you know if you say yourself, nobody giving you no money.
Of course.
You got to say God.
But the
so
people
we
that
all
are giving-
doing it, though.
People that are giving the money aren't, they're just like, well, he said it was for God, so I'm going to give it to him.
All right,
Without even,
so
like,
then what's
thinking
the
about it.
difference with collecting an offering and then them doing what they do?
Well,
Both parties are using
Hey.
God. Is one more righteous than the other?
Full disclosure. I am the son of a minister.
Okay.
You think that was
we
going to
know.
save you, sir?
No.
What, you want a cookie?
No.
No, I'm playing.
But I will say this.
Cookies, but I do have gummies.
Oh, do not take that.
Nah, we don't-
Absolutely not.
All right, I will say
That
this.
thing will send us all to the moon.
No, I'm
We'll
sorry,
talk
this
about
is
that
really
later.
sorry. These are candy gummies. I just want to make
They'll send us
I
all-
want everybody to understand. One of the reasons why I believe the way I believe is because my dad being a minister, and I told him this the other day. I tell him every so often, if he was fake or if he was one of those charlatans, I would be the first to denounce him. 'Cause I don't hold my tongue for nobody.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why when I see something like that, I'm not quick to call it a scam. Will I say it's misguided? Will I say they're using this woman's pain for their gain? Will I say that there could have been done differently? But that my first go-to is not, okay, spiritual things are fake. Now, what I will say is that those folks in those positions have a lot of influence and a lot of power. And if they wanted to, and I'm sure some of them do, actually we know some of them do, use that influence to gain ill-gotten riches, they will do it. And they'll be successful at it. And they'll use people's pain and people's addiction to vices, and they'll use people's sicknesses. They'll use people's broken families. They'll use people's marital issues. They'll use whatever they can to entice those same people to give them money. And it happens all the time.
So intent is the word, because my question was before that too. Is what's the difference? You get up there and you say offering. You make your case for people giving offering and paying tithes, right? You use the Bible. You use God.
Yeah.
They get up there, they use the Bible and they use God as well. So is intent the thing? Or
Yeah.
like what makes one right and the other one wrong?
One, it's intent and what you're doing with the money. Do you view that money as yours, or do you view that money for the ministry and whatever that means?
I'm all right. I'm always confused when people say that.
Okay.
Is it mine or is it the ministry? Okay, if I'm the pastor,
I got to eat too,
I'm
right?
I'm the one handling the money. I gotta eat too. It's
I got a
me.
family too.
It's not like people say this building stuff to give us this idea that it's not going to a person. It's going to a person. It's going to somebody's pocket. In either they use it to pay bills and take care of the affairs of the church, right? They pay themselves
Yeah.
to keep the church functioning, or whatever they use it for, right? So
Right.
like, why is that something that people are afraid to say? You know,
But,
it
you
goes
know,
to a person.
Okay, go ahead.
Here's what I like. I like the best example I could bring up. In Jesus' crew, did Jesus handle the money?
No,
Why? Why not?
I could assume political reasons.
All right. The guy who was handling the money was doing the wrong stuff with it, right?
Well, of course.
So it's funny when you really think about it. Jesus didn't have the money. The guy who was handling the money did the wrong stuff with it. Paul and Peter. If you read the epistles, every so often they were thanking some folks for donating, and they were asking for money also. Were they not?
And there were reasonings for that.
But here's my deal, though. Here's where the confusing part, though. That's a great point that you bring up. But I'll take something.
I'm good right now.
I'll take a ching. Yeah, I haven't drunk that in a minute.
He's got a ting. I want ting too.
Ting. Thank you, sir.
I take the water.
I'll take one of those pear Pellegrino sticky pears.
A little commercial
pear.
break, y'all.
Yeah. No, the Pellegrino.
Hey, I don't mean to talk too much.
No, it's
No,
not man.
dude, perfect, man. You're a dude. Whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah.
But
I got the highball glass here. Pellegrino. That's this non-alcoholic Pellegrino. I don't want nobody calling in here and be like, Dwayne's
Wait, you
drinking.
don't want nobody to see the beer you're drinking
What beer?
just a couple minutes ago?
What beer?
He said, "What beer?
What beer?
Show him the beer.
Which beer? Where?
Show everybody the beer.
Where?
Show everybody the beer, yo.
Where? If I don't see it, it's not there. Ha ha
Oh boy.
ha ha ha.
So that way you're going to tell the lady who has the problem?
Yeah.
If you don't see it, it's not
But
there.
yo, check it though, right?
You know what I'm
You
saying?
don't see it, it's not there. Oh, that's what you told the lady.
I didn't tell that lady. I don't know her.
That's
Man.
why the lady thought it was a demon.
I don't know her, man.
Because you're like, what you see is not there.
You see, it's not there.
Just
It's
put
not
it in
there.
your mouth.
It's not. Yeah. Hey, man. Yo, if you married,
My bad.
that's a good demon to have. Nah, I'm just saying, not demons are not good to have. Don't get upset. I'm just saying, just making a joke.
Why you
I'm just saying.
backtracking,
I'm
dog?
just saying, you know.
Backpedal.
Why you backpedaling?
No, I'm not backpedaling.
Well,
I'm just saying, you know, is the oral sex demon a thing? Because I
I'm
know a lot
saying.
of marriages that can use it. Just saying.
Yo, so, speaking of Jesus and his whole handling money stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did he really need to handle money? I mean, he was making money come out of nowhere. He didn't need currency. We did. You know what I'm saying? He didn't need money.
Don't
we
say
did.
Jesus didn't need money.
Did he?
He did.
For what?
Why did he have a treasury?
Why? Explain to me.
Well, I mean,
I'm dead serious. I don't know why.
He was multiplying. Yeah.
Like
I mean,
I don't know why he would have a treasury.
I mean,
like for example, I've seen the cases where there was money. I've seen the instances of all that stuff. But Peter was the same one that he told to go to the fish's mouth and go grab some coins because they owed back taxes.
Yeah, that was in that instance.
Right.
I mean that.
But-
I need to know that trick.
Okay. That's a great trick. I want to know.
I need to
I'm
know.
still trying to know
I've
that
never
trick
fished
too.
and got money.
Because it's tax season right now.
I've been asking for that
It would
trick for a
help me
long
out a
time, and he
lot.
would not answer.
No,
right?
but I think and
Another
this is me.
instance.
This is me
Alright.
thinking out loud. What that rich guy who came to Jesus and said, "Show me the way to heaven." What's the first thing he told him to do?
Get rid of all your money.
Sell everything.
Why?
everything.
And do what?
Follow me.
Give it to the poor. Do you believe that Jesus was a guy that would not practice what he preached?
No.
So whatever money he was
According to-
collecting, I believe he was giving it away to the poor and to those in need. That because again, Jesus is not somebody who's going to tell you to do this if he's not doing it.
And he had a bunch of people rolling with him, like at least 12, that
And-
left their jobs in order to follow
yeah.
him.
I mean,
Okay, so they needed money
to survive.
to survive.
Because
to help
one of
them
the
live.
first things he told the disciples is, all right, if you really want to follow me, you got to leave your wife, your house, your job, your whatever, and just follow me.
Yeah.
And some people could, some people couldn't. Those who did, they had to eat at some level.
So let me ask you this then. That's a very good point. Let's segue to this. Leave your wife. So do you believe that God's calling or your calling on your life is bigger than your marriage?
No. I'll tell you why.
You don't believe that?
No, I'll tell you why.
So then
I was going to tell
I'm gonna give you Tell me why. I got a follow up question. Go ahead.
Okay. In Peter's case, in the disciples' case, Jesus was only going to be on earth for about 3 years. So they had a little bit of time to take care of stuff, so they were going all around. That's good for him. For that pastor on this side of the cross, God gifts him or gives him a wife. He's expected to be with that wife according to Ephesians 5.
Okay. Explain that.
Ephesians 5, husbands love your wives.
As
Christ loved the church, giving himself up for and things of that nature. In our role as husbands right now are to provide and protect for our wives. So at no point am I to leave my wife for any extended period of time. Even Peter, after the 3 years, once Jesus was crucified, went back, to his wife. He went back to his life and his children and all that stuff. So he had responsibilities. But for that time, for that short 3-year ministry that Jesus was around, he was away from his wife at that point. But that wasn't supposed to be something that we were supposed to do forever.
Yeah, but that's a significant amount of time.
That is significant. Yes, it is.
Right.
But
so
it
then,
was important.
what is first? What is first, his will or your marriage?
Well, his will, yes, but in that particular case, or that was a extreme case. In most cases,
All good.
no, it's all good. It's all good. In most cases, that's not what we are expected to do. If, like Paul says in 1 Corinthians, if you have one of those ministry things and you want to do ministry, it says don't get married because you have to take care of your wife.
The issues of
going
life.
those are the issues of life. So if you have a wife, You have to stay with her because in First Timothy, what does it say? That doesn't take care of his family is worse than an infidel.
Infidel, yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not gonna say, well, but baby, I know you want me to stay with these 5 kids, but I gotta go out and do ministry.
I love Jesus.
I love
so I
Jesus.
can't love you.
I can't love you. I can't love you. You know what
I
I'm
love
saying?
Jesus, so I can't love you, huh?
Yeah, that's just how it goes. That's just how it goes.
Really?
Nah, bro, I'm good. Y'all can
It's
finish that.
but it's funny because that didn't seem to be. I see a lot of ministers struggle with that,
Yeah, there's a whole
Right.
lot of reasons for that.
and I can't. I'll be honest with you. I can't say that they're wrong.
I would say they're wrong.
Here's why I can't say that they're wrong.
Yeah.
Right? I can't say that they're wrong because outside of marriage, right? If you think about it, man, you're married. Then what? What are you supposed to be doing? So now I'm married. Now I'm fulfilling the kingdom of God because I'm married, right? Now we know the commandment was be fruitful and multiply, right? Between the species, right? That's also an unspoken commandment of animals, because if you don't breed, you don't populate the earth, right? So that to me is not something where it's just like I don't even weigh that as like one of the major things of being married is to procreate. No, that's you the whole system of the universe is procreating, is keep creating new things. You understand what I'm saying? So you get married and then what? You have sex, all right, you get over that, right? Looks, you get over that. Yeah, of course you get over it, because it's like, okay, now you've been there, you've done that.
Yeah.
It's not to say that it's I'm not speaking of a place where it gets old. I'm saying that you've been there, you've done that now. Okay.
It's not a new experience.
Yeah, it's not a new experience. And then what now? What do you do now?
Well, ideally,
Do you have marriage conferences?
no,
do you try to help people?
I mean, you can, and people actually
Right.
do that.
Yeah, people
You know,
Yeah,
like what do you do?
needed.
But I think ideally, and this is, I'm sad to say, most of us aren't there, and we need to be. Those of us who are married, I think the 3 of us are. Ideally, whatever that vision and mission you have for your life, your wife should be part of it. And her role in that should be making sure that as a unit, y'all get there together, wherever that there may be, whatever that pinnacle is. Unfortunately, too often, we don't operate that way.
Yeah.
We operate as, hey, you're supposed to take care of me. You do this, I do that, just for the day-to-day, and we separate our responsibilities in the household, and the husband pays, the wife takes care of this or that, the kids, whatever, and that's as far as we take it. We never sit down and talk about what our vision is going to be, what our goal is going to be, what our collective goal is going to be. We don't talk about what our legacy is going to be. We don't talk about what we are leaving behind. We don't talk about, here's my call, here's your call. What are we doing together to make those things a reality? And so it ends up happening, and Paul said it best, we spend all our time dealing with the issues of life, but not dealing with
That
the
happens
calling.
with 99% of marriages.
Well, I think
I can say that great percentage because it's a heavy percentage.
I think the thing.
You know what I'm saying?
I think the thing with marriage though, we have so put family and children on a low tier, to where we think if we have family and children, that's fine. That can't be ministry in and of itself, but we have to go out and do something greater. What I'm saying is there are certain times where, especially in ministry homes, I don't know if this is true of your home, but in many ministry homes, where the husband and the wife are so into ministry that they're kind of leaving their children out there. So when it comes to ministry, it's like we used to love to mess with like pastors' kids, because they like are the freakiest ones out there, because they really have nobody watching them.
Wait a minute. You said they're the freakiest ones out there?
They can be. They can be. I'm just saying. I
Hey,
don't have.
I would agree to that.
I'm not going to defend pastors' kids.
Yeah. I don't have receipts that I would talk about.
You stay quiet on that one.
But what I'm saying is, when you have two people that are so into the ministry, so into what God's calling on their life is, that they forget that having children also is a calling. and then trying to serve up their children on the altar of ministry, and then leave them totally to their own devices, and you see what happens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'll speak to this. I didn't really know my dad,
Mm-hmm.
and I love my dad. My dad's my hero, and me and him have an incredible relationship.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know him until I turned about 13 years old, because he was working, and he was doing ministry, and in that time, he was just kind of an entity. I mean, he'd come around, and he'd be at the house, but like having a relationship, and I guess we didn't know better either, or at that time. Now we have all these self-help books. We have this Dr. Phil, Oprah type of new wage mentality, and it's not that it's all bad, but now we know that we do need to spend time with our kids. We do, and we've seen it happen in the church for a long time. Here are these huge ministers who have these huge ministries, then you find out their kids are all types messed up. They have these divorces, and it actually does more harm than good, because they have spent all this time creating an image of them being super minister, and now all we remember of them is that they got divorced or their kid.
That's an interesting point that you bring up, divorce, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do we have the answers, quote unquote, and then we have the highest divorce rates? Other countries do not have that issue,
Well,
but we have the answers, though.
Well, I don't think it's. I think we don't have the answers. I think.
Well, we say we do, though. That's
No,
what I'm
we
saying.
always
That's
say
the
we
whole
do.
point. Is like we're like, yeah, like for example, we just was talking about marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we must have quoted about like 5-6 scriptures, right?
Mm-hmm.
about like why we believe what we believe,
Mm-hmm.
right? But yet, a great percentage, like in the 80s, 70s, 70-something%, high divorce rates happens in the church
Yeah, we have the answers.
with
we
the
just don't
people
like
that we know.
Yeah, we have the answers. We just don't like the answer.
What answer is that? Like that we don't like?
That would for everybody that's listening. Look at the last podcast, which was podcast number 3. We went into great detail about that.
Please
but,
refresh that memory.
But yeah, to refresh your memory, that scripturally, the Bible does not. It'll allow for a divorce, but it doesn't allow for remarriage. It always looks toward reconciliation. So, are you going to say? Okay, I was getting ready to say. No, but it always looks towards reconciliation. A lot of churches that I've been to, when you bring that up, they'll instantly go into, well, God forgives me for that. And I'd be like, okay, well, it doesn't say that. It says that if you leave your wife, you're supposed to reconcile with her, or if you leave your husband, you're supposed to reconcile with her while they're living. If they're not living, you're free to marry. But if they are, you have to reconcile. But that's a hard word for a lot of people. They were like, oh, I don't like this guy anymore, so let me get out of here. So we have the answers, we just don't like the answer.
So is that the answer to what though? What's the answer to that?
Well,
is that what like?
You said that there are high divorce rates.
Yes.
If I'm telling you, you don't have that option, like divorce or remarriage. If I'm telling you that you cannot remarry that person that you've had your eye on while your spouse is still living, that's going to change it, because it's like, well, now you have no other option.
Okay, is that applicable in these times?
Well, yeah, because the Bible hasn't changed.
Okay, so then if that's the case, then we need to examine every single thing.
Absolutely.
In this time, and because a lot of things that we're doing right now is inappropriate.
Yeah. A lot of churches are not so much about being scripturally sound, but more so they have certain traditions.
No, I'm
within
talking
their own
about
church.
as tedious as girls are not wearing pants. Like, okay, if we're gonna open this up, right, then open it up all the way.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
But-
If you're gonna say that, like, this is applicable now, it doesn't matter if this girl is getting the crap beat out of her, right?
I didn't say that either.
Well, I'm just saying though, but
Yeah.
I'm putting a case out there, right?
Right.
Like by like an obvious case of a woman should not stay in that relationship, right? She's getting the crap beat out of her, but the Bible tells her she has to stay, right? And then she ends up staying, ends up dead,
Well, no,
Right?
Yeah, the Bible doesn't say that. It says
Right.
you
So
just
then
can't
what
get
happens
remarried.
is, but why can't she move on with her life though?
You can't get remarried because when the scriptures are talking about covenant and things, those are lasting bonds.
Right. So
Right.
if those are lasting bomb, doesn't the scripture also talks about like the fact that you fornicated with somebody, right? You entered blood covenant with that person.
No, it doesn't.
Right?
Nah, it doesn't say you.
It doesn't say
you
that,
said
right?
You said you said
But
you sinned. There
but the
wasn't a
process
covenant,
of
though.
sexual intercourse is a
You
covenant
become
through
one
blood.
body with that person. You
Right.
become
So
one
then
body
if
with
you
a
have
prostitute,
sex with a
doesn't
bunch
matter
of
that.
people, haven't you done that already?
Nah, it doesn't constitute a marriage. There's an actual.
So a marriage is
thing.
not constituted through consummation. It's not
confirmed.
sealed. It's not
confirmed.
sealed.
It's confirmed through consummation. But
So
there
then
must be
if you don't,
vows
okay,
and
so then let
all
me
that
ask this
other stuff.
question. So if you don't have it, then what? Is it concealed or not?
No, that's just
Is
fornication.
it sealed or not?
Oh, if you don't have it, no, it isn't.
If you get married but you don't have sex,
Yeah,
is it
it
sealed?
isn't.
Huh?
Yeah, it isn't. There
So
has
then
to be.
you have to enter into a covenant, blood
Right.
covenant.
Yeah, there has to be there's a covenant part, before.
So
and
my
then after that.
so I guess my question is then why, if that's the thought process, then why Jesus tells a Samaritan woman that you have 5 husbands?
Because she might have.
She
had
entered
5.
she entered into covenant.
No,
with
because
them.
the one that she was with currently wasn't her husband, so she didn't. So it
Right,
wasn't
but why
just a
say you
sex
have
thing.
5?
Right, that means she actually had
Have
5.
5 people that she has sex with, right?
That had 5 people that she
So
was
then
married
what I'm saying
to.
is like
married
I
to.
guess my question is like, so then what is the point of blood covenant?
What do you
Meaning like if you can have sex with 5 people, right? Okay.
Well,
Jesus,
yeah, no,
Jesus
okay.
comes.
There's promise made, there's vows exchanged,
Right.
and then there's a consummation of those vows on the marital bed. So you can't have one without the other. If you just have the sex, then it's just a fornication issue.
Right. I agree with you. I
Right.
agree with you.
That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is like, but you still had sex,
Right.
right? And when you was approached by Jesus himself, woman, you was told you have 5, but you never went through that process of saying I do
Yes, she did. Yes. That
with 5 different husbands.
Yeah.
Did she?
Yeah.
Is that recorded?
Married, divorce. Yeah.
Was that recorded? I'm not sure.
No,
You can look it up.
there's a different because if we're just talking.
Because I thought that it was not her husband. Like she didn't go through the marital
That's
process.
the way it's traditionally preached.
You know what I'm saying?
The way it's traditionally preached is that these are people that she was sleeping with. I'm not really
Because
sure.
didn't one of the people called her like she was labeled as an adulterer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she was labeled an adulterer.
so
then
one
that
of those
means
people was married
that
already.
she was married already.
Actually, the
to
one she
of-
was with right now was married.
Was not no. Yeah, she said the one that you're with right now is not your husband. The one that you're living with right now is not your husband. You've had 5 husbands. Second, also with John the Baptist and Herod, they said it's not good for you to have your brother's wife, meaning he was married to his brother's wife. She was divorced, and she married Herod. So it's like, but he still called him his brother Philip's wife because he was still alive.
So is that the only instance in the Bible where a woman had sex with a man and was not considered, was not married to the man, but entered into blood covenant with the man, and that was considered her husband?
Yeah, the blood covenant
Okay.
it's not really blood. It's just you just had sex with the person. That's just how that worked.
But
As a matter of
you
fact,
exchange body fluids.
well, yeah, so that's fornication. That happens. Like they had that in the Old Testament. There was like what was it? If you found a virgin outside of the city and you had sex with her, then at that point you would have to marry her. They would make you marry her if she was.
So
a
do you
virgin.
believe when you have sex with the person you become one?
Yeah, that's what that's what Scripture says. He's like when he's talking about. But hold on, time out. In context, what he's actually talking about is when we become saved, we become one in Christ, like as far as body concerned. So he's like, am I going to take the body of Christ and make it one with a prostitute? So it's not really talking. It's not really speaking of it in the terms of you become actual one with the prostitute.
Okay, let
It's
me bring
just
it.
how
Let
that
me,
works.
let me bring it this way: if you have sex with a person, do you become one with them?
Yes, yeah. I mean,
He's kind of box you in here. It's kind
yeah,
of
he's
tough
trying.
for you
He's
to say
trying.
no right now.
Yeah, I can't necessarily say no. I mean, there's orifices being filled up.
You
I
entered
guess-
into the person.
Yeah.
Do you become one with the person? Okay, let me give you this example.
It's a marriage.
There's
thing.
couples that's not married. There's couples that have sex so much, and y'all have seen this happen, right?
Yeah.
That they start to look like each other.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It start to take after a long period of time. It'll start to take a physical form, right, on the person where you be like, they look like cousins, but they've been together for a minute. They've been having sex for a minute. So what I'm saying is, I enter into a female. Am I one with that female?
Yeah, it takes time, but yeah, I believe so.
So if I'm one with that female, am I married to that female per se? Not in the context of saying my vows, but just in the context of I entered into you. Now we share something.
Nah,
There's an exchange that happened now.
nah, you're a
I
fornicator.
entered, my semen came out of my
Yeah.
spirit came out of me and went into you.
Yeah, you're a fornicator.
So then what happened?
You're a fornicator. That's all you are.
How? When my spirit came out.
Yeah, that's just fine. No, there's two things
So
that go together.
I left my spirit
There
inside
must
of
be
her.
yeah, there must be
Electricity
vows
went through my balls.
made. Yeah. Hey,
Right?
Whoa.
No,
Electricity.
that's what happened because that's why you're tired afterwards,
just
right?
You have a taser
A
at the end.
whole energy comes out of you and enters into that
You're still a
person.
fornicator though. There's vows. There must be vows.
No,
and
you have to explain it. You have to give me that a little bit more
in
because
any marriage that happens, or at least from where you come from the Old Testament law, because people will say, well, Adam and Eve didn't have a marital ceremony, but in most times, even in the Old Testament, there was a ceremony of marriage, and then there was a consummation of marriage. People are consummating stuff and saying we're married when they're actually not, because in the ceremony of marriage, not only are you doing the ceremony, but now you become responsible for that woman in the eyes of the community that you're in. So you're going out having sex with this person. You're not actually married to that person until that other part is.
yo, Ansy, what do you think? Because I see you quiet, yo.
I want to see how he's gonna get out of it.
He thought he's gonna get out of it.
Once
No,
I
because,
understand the question, I can get out of
because
it.
yo, it's just no. The question is simple,
No,
man.
man. Not answer it.
No, it's just it's not clear, and I'm not sure we're gonna get to an answer. But what my thing is just like, look, I entered into this woman.
Yeah, but you can answer on a lot of women. Doesn't mean you're married to them.
So then we saying that marriage is just the vows.
I'm saying it's part of it, because those are the things that will hold you to that marriage. So, Sean, for instance, he was my best man at my wedding. So he was there for the whole thing. And as a matter of fact, I think he signed something too, which was crazy.
Yeah, you have to. Yes,
Yeah, he signed something. So
A
if I
witness.
go out tomorrow and I bring a woman here and be like, all right, yeah, this is my girl. Be like, hold up,
What are you doing?
like, what are you doing? Like, I know who you married to. I was there.
No,
There was a
I
bunch
understand that in terms of
but I'm saying
context.
it's part of it. I'm
Okay.
saying contextually, it's
Yeah,
part of
okay.
it. So it's not just the sex. You have to have something, and then also if it goes wrong or if something happens, I leave that woman. I have really nothing to do with her. I have no responsibility to her after.
All right, I think I could help out.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
All right, yeah. Here's the deal. If I come here, I go to the butcher and I take a lamb and I cut it in half, and I take the blood and I do stuff with it. That's not necessarily a ritual. That might be me preparing for a good meal. But if I take that same lamb and I cut it in half, and I say, and with the intent that I'm inviting God or whatever spirit, whatever, to now take hold, and I come into contract with my mouth saying these things and that these other things, then it's something different. Now it becomes a ritual. Now it becomes a sacrifice.
Right.
Just because I cut it in half doesn't mean, just because I put my dick, like we've been saying the whole night, doesn't necessarily mean I'm married to her. Doesn't mean that I exchanged bodily fluids. Yes. Doesn't mean that we became one in that moment. Yes. Doesn't mean things were exchanged in that moment. Yes. Doesn't mean that this person is going to be my wife. No. The wife part comes in with the, like we've been talking about, intent. I gathered witnesses. I invited God, and I said, this will be my wife till the day that I die or the day she dies. That's a different thing. Now, the fornication, the sex, does it create bonds? Does it create what we could call soul ties? Heck yeah, we know it does. I'm sure for some of us who indulged back in the day, there's still women who you think about
Yeah,
20 years, 30 years later.
Yeah, it happens.
But does that mean you're married to that woman? No. But I think what we need to understand is That's why the Bible talks very sternly about that, because those soul ties and that space that women or man, for you women out there listening, who take up in your heart and your mind, that space isn't for them. That space is for your real wife. And that's why those things are so dangerous and so bad.
And then also it brings problems into your marriage, because now instead of thinking in your
So wait. No, we're not finished. We're not finished yet.
teamwork makes the
We're
dream
not
work.
finished yet. So intent is is what separates it all.
Well, I think intent separates a lot of things.
Okay, so because I said these things with my words, right? Now it means something different.
Hey, let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100.
Yeah,
Right? Death and life are in the power of
your tongue.
the tongue. So we're
Okay.
gonna use the scriptures.
Okay.
That's how this podcast has been going. We say a couple things, we come back to the scripture.
Okay.
Right? Also, for you to become a Christian, you have to confess with your
With your mouth.
right.
So intent, right? I agree with you. I'm going with you. I'm along the same line. I agree with everything. It has to do with what you say and your intent behind it, right? So in my intent, right, I can say this is what I want this to be, and this is what it shall be, right? Because now I say, God, I'm devoting myself to this woman before you, and now this is my wife.
Even though you have another one at home.
Even though I have another one.
it doesn't
Boo, boo.
But that's my intent, though.
No, yeah, it doesn't work.
My intention is that, though.
Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't
So
work that way.
can I do the same thing? Saying, hey, now I've just learned that the marginal tax rate in, let's say,
So,
Bolivia
If it's
is
okay,
14%.
my point is
So now with my mouth, I say I'm
right. So
Bolivian.
here's the tricky thing,
and
right?
I'm not gonna
Here's the tricky thing, and here's where we fall into this whole thing, right? If it's hard, it's a very thin line to leave it to a man's intent, right? Here's why, because I can say, right, and this could be allegedly, right? Michael Jackson. I can say I love children. You understand what I'm saying? Like it could go
No, I didn't-
left.
I didn't watch it.
Right.
see it.
You didn't see it?
I didn't need
All
to.
right, so then let's get off Michael
I saw
Jackson.
the-
We'll talk about that next podcast.
I
R.
saw-
Kelly.
I saw the R. Kelly one, yeah.
There's so many things out there, right?
Yeah.
It could be in his mind. What is wrong with everybody? Everything.
No,
this
no,
is
no,
right
no,
to me.
No, there's something
So
very different.
So
about
then,
that.
where do you draw the line, though?
So number one,
If it has to do with only intent, where do you draw the line? Because somebody could have their intent and completely believe that their intentions are right. So then,
we got to take it all the way back. We have the law, right? Not just our law here, the penal code in New York City, but we also have the law in the Bible. Then we have spiritual law. Right? Why did we need the law?
no, for government,
Because men were
to
hard.
govern ourselves.
It's wrong.
Because
Accordingly.
what's in the heart of man?
Sin, evil.
So what ends up happening, can we really trust our own intent outside of the context of what the word says? Can we trust our own intent outside of the context of learning what is good and what is not good? Because if we just trust our own intent, that's how we have people who become dictators, because they believe they're doing what's right. They believe wholeheartedly because they go unchecked. Hitler believed killing the Jews was the right thing for the world. You could name a whole bunch of dictators who did all types of atrocities, but in that moment, their intent was to do the right thing for their people. So no, intent is not enough to justify actions. What has to be now. Intent can explain actions. Intent can explain the course of those actions, but intent alone is not enough, because I can intend to make sure that I get to a certain place in time. So I drive 1,000 miles an hour and I killed 3 people. But my intention wasn't to kill 3 people, but I did drive 1,000 miles an hour. Does my intent absolve me of my responsibility?
Okay, so then what's that missing component
Well,
that is needed to be able to justify one's actions?
Your intent has to be governed by something higher than yourself.
How do I know that what you're telling me is the truth?
Well, there are certain when you're speaking about societies, there are certain things that we all agree on.
Like-
As a group, we all know that cowardice is wrong. We all know that in times of war there should be certain terms of engagement. Like we're not total. So it's kind of like the UN a little bit. Terms of engagement. In R. Kelly's case, he thinks having sex with kids is okay. Most times, people are like, "Nah, that's not good.
That ain't right.
That's not right." However, we have seen over years that certain things that weren't okay become okay. But in this particular case, I think across the board, hopefully, most people think that having sex with a 15-year-old is bad.
I think all of us saw the video with Gail King.
Oh yeah, you saw it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So the problem with R. Kelly, and this is just me putting it out there. R. Kelly knows what he did was wrong from watching that video. That's just me, my opinion. Number two,
They're trying to kill me.
I think what really messed R. Kelly up and what made it very difficult for him is many of those people or those kids that he had having sex were brought to him by their parents. So
you think their parents had a dealing with this?
Yeah,
of course. You can't tell me.
Of course.
Okay, look. For us of Caribbean background, Haitian background.
Well, no, I'm from the States. Man.
All right, well, whatever.
Still, you're black, brother.
Whatever.
Same.
You tell me.
Same
You
black.
You
exactly,
tell me
same
my
background.
15-year-old daughter's gonna be gone from my house for more than a day.
Are you kidding? Well, see, all right. Here's the charge, right?
And
Yeah.
and she calls me up to tell me she's at R. Kelly's house or Kelly R. or whoever's house, and she thinks she's gonna stay there.
Well, see, that's coming from a man's man.
You guys
It's
are
not.
kidding me.
No,
now.
bro. There's
One
not.
of them took their
That's
daughter
coming
to the
from-
concert.
that's
Hold
coming
up.
from-
Hold up. Let's talk about this for a minute. One of them took him to a concert. She was 17 years old. That's like me taking my daughter to a Bobby Blue Bland concert. R. Kelly is old. He ain't the Migos. Why are we taking what's going to why am I putting you on stage with R. Kelly unless I'm thinking that maybe if I put it, I know he has
Or
See,
you might be really stupid.
See, a lot of people are saying. That that's victim shaming. You see what I'm saying?
shaming
No.
You know,
I'm gonna keep
that-
it 100.
that's what they'll say though.
No. That's bad parenting.
That's
and
bad
if they're
parenting.
ashamed of that, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Your job as a father, you have a daughter, don't you?
Two of them.
Your daughter will not.
Look,
be-
let me. All right, let me
keep
just
it
tell
all
you my
100.
case right now.
Yeah.
There are some things that I have conceded that I am willing to go to jail for.
Okay then. Why?
That's them too.
Why did you concede?
Because I will kill somebody.
Okay then.
That's just what it is. It's not going down like that. So my stance is already.
You with me?
Look, I know exactly where I stand when it comes to that. There is no way R. Kelly would feel safe walking these damn streets.
And if it did happen,
there was no way.
Wait, time out. And if it did happen, would it have been you who brought them to R. Kelly?
Hell no.
Okay
What the hell am I
then.
doing bringing
That's
R.
all
Kelly?
I'm saying.
You know his track record. You know what I'm saying?
That's all I'm saying.
They was like, oh, he got acquitted the first time. I'm like, okay.
Oh wow.
Wow, really?
Wow, that's messed
that's
up.
what we're doing?
So then parents trying to get that paper though.
Yeah.
That's why they're selling their daughters off for money.
I have two daughters. I have
Is
5
that what it
children.
is?
Yeah, I have 2 daughters. Both of them have pretty fair singing voices. Both of them. I'm not saying that as a dad. I'm saying that because other people have told me it's like they have pretty fair singing voices. If it was between them getting a record deal with R. Kelly or them pushing a mop for the rest of their life,
Give them up.
you take this mop because I know what's going to happen with R. Kelly, man. I don't think women should have to give up the booty to get a record deal. Like this, you should just be able to sing well. It's like, come on, man. It's not good.
That's a very dangerous thing, you know, with the women and booty and giving record deal. That's a whole big subject, man.
Yeah.
But it's just this like for example, like I agree, man. Look, as a parent, like we all here, like, look, there's no way that would ever go to phase 1.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So never mind, like all this stuff, like she's staying and they're in love, and all of a sudden all this stuff is happening. And so, but you see these parents, so like a lot of times I'm talking about the subject, right? And everybody's like, oh my God, look at them. And I'm like, yo, it took a documentary for y'all fools to be all of a sudden so sensitive about this subject, right? But not thinking that, like, yo, it's being aired on television, right? regardless of what you say, oh, there's no money. Please, give me a break. Okay?
Yeah.
People are writing books off of this. People get like, and rightfully, look. If you had a situation,
Space don't mind no hustle, man. I appreciate
look,
that.
I don't mind. Look. If you are hustling somebody and saying like, look, this thing happened years ago. We have no way of proving it. We're probably not going to win in court.
Let's get
But
the book going.
let's get a book deal going. Let's get something going as some type of retribution.
Yeah, I think that's what that.
You understand what
Michael
I'm saying?
Jackson thing was all
And
about.
in that case, if you was a victim, if you was a chick that was a victim and you're trying to do that, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you on the stance of like, look, R. Kelly made you pay. Now you're trying to make him pay and try to get some type of deal.
No, but I'm really mad at R. Kelly.
You know what I'm saying?
And here's why. I'm furious at him. Not because my daughter, because I wouldn't have to be mad at him because, like you said, I would have killed him. I would have. I said it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's no brainer.
He'd be, or I'd try.
No brainer. Exactly, no brainer.
But here's why I'm really mad at him. Number one, and I want everybody to hear this. Number one, I'm really mad at him because he really, really hurt these women. These young children, 14, 15, 16, 17, scarred them for life, just evil, worst type of person, worst type of trash human being. Second reason I'm really upset with him is because not everybody's conflicted. Some of the songs that R. Kelly sang are part of everyone's lives. They're soundtracks. These are songs we played as musicians at wedding gigs. Songs we got paid to cover. These are songs that we would hear on the radio and be like, man, we love that groove. Songs that we would improvise over. Songs that we would, songs that, and now, those songs are now taboo. They come on the radio, everybody looks at each other and gets uncomfortable. But those are songs that some of our friends got married to. And do we separate the song from the man? Do we separate the man from the songs? Because those songs had nothing to do with pedophilia. Those songs were really good songs that created the mood that we wanted at whatever given time it was. But now we can't enjoy them anymore. So R. Kelly, I'm really not feeling you right now. You really messed it up for a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
But he might think that is right.
Which
In
makes
his
it worse.
mind, you see,
No,
you
but
see
it
the
makes it
guys,
worse.
But the
he
thing-
thinks it's right though.
But the thing is,
That's why we have laws.
And
Right.
but yeah, we can't look at R. Kelly as a monolith though, because when you get to Hollywood or people in that famous part of whatever they're doing, pedophilia is pretty normative to some of them.
Right.
It's very
It's normal
It's
in different
normal.
Watch
countries.
this. Yeah,
The
I'm about
age
to
group
get
we're
there.
talking about in different countries, that's not
12 years
applicable.
old and above.
It's not applicable.
They're
right?
ready to go.
Yeah,
I remember cats talking. As long as you get your period, they think that you're straight now.
Yo, like what was
Nah,
it?
but see,
What was
that's
it?
not right,
What was
yo.
it like?
know
Woody,
what I'm saying?
like Woody Allen, he married his stepdaughter.
All right, so then let's do two things, right? Like here's two main topics that I want to try to like see what your guys' stance is on it, right? So now R. Kelly's music.
Okay.
What do you do with it? Do you stop listening to it?
Step side to the, put it to
Yeah.
the side. We can't
Put it to the side?
Ayo,
Why?
Can't step side to side
No,
anymore.
I say
I'm not saying that. I'm just asking a question.
I don't see
I say-
nothing wrong.
I know. I know. I put it out there.
Drive.
If you can
Do
listen
you
to
still listen to that?
there's certain
hear
songs that I
your
can't listen to. The bodies.
call.
No,
Yeah.
there's one song I can't listen to.
What?
The bodies. Your body's calling remix, and it got Aaliyah on it, and Aaliyah was like 14, and I'm like, ugh.
yeah?
Because he's probably doing. He does songs with certain people, and you're like, ugh, I can't. She's like 14. Why are you singing your body's calling when
But
she's like
he
that?
thought the whole time he thought he was right. He thought
Yeah,
there's something
yeah.
right about it. He
No,
said
he-
there's don't see nothing wrong. Age ain't nothing but a number. Remember
Well,
that?
Yeah. Those-
That's
I
a
can't- I
record.
can't-
That's
yeah,
a big
it's
record.
Age ain't nothing but a number. That's
a
Aaliyah's
big
whole
record.
album. And I was like,
That's a big record. Yo, so then what then? Do you stop listening to his records?
Well, I'll say this. It makes it difficult. Can I say that I'm going to purposely look to play R. Kelly's records? Probably not. But if it comes on, am I going to turn it off right away? I don't know. I have to find out.
I listen to what I want to listen to. there'll be certain things I don't feel like I want to listen to, but I was listening to Michael Jackson and R. Kelly on the way here. I don't care.
And watch this. If you want to be real technical about it, has he been convicted of anything yet?
No.
Which is, I don't really want to be technical about it. I believe he did that stuff, but but if you want to be,
You want to believe it? How about if he didn't do that stuff? You ever thought about that?
No.
How about if he didn't wait? He waited. I mean, granted they were young, but how
There
about
was
if
a
he?
video, dog.
How about if he waited that? How about if he had these girls and he waited? There wasn't enough evidence.
No, I'm talking.
He
about
got acquitted, right?
No, which one? Which one? The recent ones?
Yeah. No, from the one that. Yeah,
No,
the
yeah,
original.
no,
the one way he's pissing on a chick.
No. Basically, what happened was the people that were involved decided not to testify at the last minute.
But so what, right? So all right. So according to the court of law, as we're saying, we're governed by the law. That doesn't. It's null and
they have
void.
to throw it out.
Null and void. Throw that out.
Yeah.
So then you can't judge him from that case now.
So your daughter sings really well. Are you gonna let her go on stage with R. Kelly and sing?
Ansy, I told you that already.
Oh, yeah.
Hell to the mother. No.
Whoa.
And I say that with aggression, yo. Hell no.
Use Mike. He's talking reckless.
That ain't happening.
reckless.
That ain't happening. I will talk reckless when it comes to them. Yo, all bets are off, bro.
So then-
all bets are off when it comes to them too.
We know what the criminal justice is. In order to get a conviction, you have to have somebody say yes, he did it, and then have the video along with it. But if the person that's supposedly in the video is saying no, that wasn't.
Well, that's
him,
what I'm
it
saying though. But
Yeah, but that
the
doesn't mean-
law found him innocent.
The law found. Yeah, but I'm looking at you.
Yo, I don't think these girls are gonna win this time, man.
They may
That's
not.
that's the unfortunate
They
part.
don't need to win.
They don't have enough evidence
Look,
on him.
number
on
one,
him, man.
all they needed to do, and honestly, I think what they wanted to do, they did already with the.
They got their book
shows.
deals and the shows.
They got the
that-
book deals.
their
It's known.
pubs.
R. Kelly's career has finally gotten the heat and the damage for it. So they don't really need. I mean, him going to jail ain't gonna change whatever happened. Do I think he needs to go to jail? I do. Because if you touch little girls in that way, and when I say little girls, I'm talking people who are under the age of consent. If you're doing that, you need to pay. You need to pay with time. You need to pay. Because I'm with you. If that's my son or my daughter that's doing that, or is getting that stuff done to them,
No, all bets are
I will
off.
rain
It's-
fire.
Well,
yeah, it's just
Okay,
it's-
well, let me ask you a question because you know there's some sick people out here. Did you know that there are people lobbying right now, as we speak in Washington, trying to normalize pedophilia, trying to make it? Yeah. So here's my question. Not to say that it's right because I believe I have children. I will kill someone. I don't have a problem with it. I'll go to jail. But if the age of consent goes down to 12, 13, 10 years from now, which it might, and R. Kelly's in jail, should he get out?
Yep. Just
will.
no, because you can't hold a man according to the law, and when the law changed, it's the same. It's the same deal with marijuana, right? They're still trying to hold on to cats, right? Why? Because it's good labor. It's free labor, right?
Right.
Because we all know jail is a big business.
I know people in Oklahoma right now who are growing weed legally, growing weed like they literally left their other jobs, growing weed by hundreds of pounds of weed every month or so, whatever. And there are people who are serving 30 and 40 year sentences for weed.
That's
in the
what I'm
same
saying.
state.
It makes no sense for a plant.
Yeah, no.
It makes no sense. So now, let me clarify my stance. Personally, no, he should be in jail.
Yeah, forever.
Right? Like meaning like personally, he should get whatever consequences that's due to him. But objectively, if you bind him by the law, then now you're subject to the law yourself.
You have
Now
to
you
free
gotta
him by that same law.
exactly. You know, you can't choose
R. Kelly-
pick and choose.
R. Kelly doesn't have the complexion for the protection. So
That's the key. That's where I was gonna go to
Yeah,
next,
he
right?
doesn't have the complexion
Is the
for
fact
protection.
is would this have been the same if he was white? I mean,
I don't think it would be as salacious.
Well, no, actually, just to make sure, because I have this conversation with my wife a lot. I want to make this clear on the outset for everybody listening. We do not believe because white men get off for this that R. Kelly should also
No,
get off for
no,
this.
yeah.
No,
Okay,
no,
we
no,
all
no,
agree.
that's not the
We
case.
all agree.
We're just
Yeah.
making, We're just making a case.
But since we've said that, Yeah, there are like I said, there are people that have been doing this. I brought up Woody Allen. He married his stepdaughter, which was 8 when he came into the house, and then
Yeah, but see, if we're talking about our legal justice system, and we're talking about what happens. So, for example, what the pharmaceutical industry is doing right now with opioids, if a person of color were to have an industry, that they'd go to jail forever. The same thing with back in the day, where you have these folks that were bootlegging alcohol and stuff like that, and all these things. The thing became legal. They're still selling it, and now they make millions of dollars, and their kids now run the country and all that stuff. That's happened. You know, that's the Kennedy family, all that stuff, right? The problem with that is the way our system is set up, and we see it, and unfortunately we've lived it. Our system is not set up for us to reap those benefits.
Right.
Patrick, I think you were saying before we started the podcast, America wasn't designed for us.
No.
The system of laws, the system of the way our country is not designed for us. And when I say us, I mean black men, black people. So what happens is we keep on trying to fit a square block in a round peg or a round hole. And we keep, no matter how hard we try. Now, again, there's always exceptions. There was always a couple folks who do really well. There's always a couple folks who succeed, and succeed inside of this design that we have called America. But for the most part, it's not designed for us to win. Some of us who do succeed, it's because we persevere, sheer will, grit, grind, and we fight harder and all this stuff. But, and this is the part white people don't like, if we take 2 people, one black, one white, give them the same resume, send them out to go find work, the white person will find work quicker, and they would find a higher paying job. It's just the way it works. And we don't want to say that. This scandal about the kids getting their moms and rich dads to pay to get them into school.
I don't know too much
Come
about
on,
it.
man. We don't even know who we got to pay to get into those things.
Yeah.
So think about how crazy that is. Like, if you want to get your kid into a certain school, you got to have enough money to pay this person. Do we even know where we find those people?
Right.
We're not even part of the, like, if America political system is a party, there's one party with the Democrats and Republicans both in that same party, and us black folks, we are not invited to that party.
Yeah.
There is no political parties. There is no. Now, granted, we've seen a lot of progress. We've seen Obama become president. Granted, we are not getting the same overt racism that we did, let's say, in the 60s and before then.
I would disagree.
I said overt.
No, I'm saying Obama was kind of like a gimmick. It was like kind of like a tokenism. A little.
It's still a token.
Yeah.
It's still something we never had before. We may never have again, but something happened where there was a person of color, no matter how much that was mixed with white or whatever you want to say it, that was president. We can't take that away from him either. However, what we're seeing right now, and the problem with the internet and the problem with all of this is that there's nothing different that's happening except we see it. But the mere fact that you see these black guys getting shot, you seeing that these white cops pulling people over for no reason, you seeing Harvey Weinstein, you seeing Bill Cosby go to jail, you seeing all of these things happening, it just kind of lets you know that it's not conducive to our folks here. Now, does it mean I don't want to be an American? And this is the part that we have a lot of cognitive dissonance.
But what does that mean to be an American, though?
That's the thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like when people say that, oh, you know, you're proud to be an American and you're African, right? And I'm not talking about, like, you know, the fact that you are strong and you can hustle and you could do what you could do for yourself. The problem is like, what does it mean to be an American when you're black? What does that really mean?
It means you can sing really well,
or you can play very well,
or you can play music really,
or you can play sports,
or
very
you're really
well.
fast.
But so, all right. So then, here's the case then, right? So then you are. So then the chosen generations are who the people say that they are, right? I'm not going to mention who they say they are, right? They say they're the chosen generation, right? But yet, it's when they're talking about like to your point exactly when you said, oh, they want you to sing, they want you to. When they talk about the things that makes the world run, they go to the people that they are actually trying to oppress, right? Or are oppressing, right? So you say to yourself, like you come over here and you say, yeah, you concede to saying that, yeah, I'm an American when you're African, right? And not know what are you talking about when it means to be an American? Like how, like what does that, like nobody, explain that. What does that mean?
Well,
like you're
I'll
African.
I'll say what it means. Here's the thing, and the idea of America is great. I believe in the idea of America.
What is the idea? Exactly.
Where we, again, this is what I believe. The idea of America is where we could all be one group of many different people working towards one idea, working towards making sure that we have equality, making sure that we create a society for everyone to thrive. The Statue of Liberty, give me your titles, your hallowed masters, all of that being true, us being the, there are a lot of cliches about America. The light, the on the hill, the beacon on the hill, all of those things are the idea of America, and that I believe in. That I want to be part of. The idea that people leave their oppressed states and other places and come here to succeed. The idea that if you work hard and you do what you need to do, that your next generation can be better.
That's great. We was doing all that in Africa.
Well, I don't know that.
I mean, what did they do? They came over here and they told us exactly what we were doing in Africa already. We was doing all that stuff.
Here's
American
here's the
status,
issue.
though. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the issue. How many of us have gone to Africa? How many of us know about that?
That's the thing.
And
All right.
also, how many of us have a favorable view about going to Africa?
Well, that's
we're
what
not
I'm
going
saying.
to.
That's what I'm
Because
saying.
Like, especially, I'm talking
That's
about
what-
like the American.
That's what I'm saying.
You're not going to.
Take you in bunches, right? Rape you, beat you, change the narrative. Now you no longer want to care for Africa no more because Africa is a poor country and it's dirty, right? And there's people with a bunch of diseases over there, right? But yeah, come to America because America is great. Come on, people, man.
Yeah.
Like seriously. So,
But if you, in actuality,
now
Africa has the
you
gold,
actually
oil.
say that I am an American and don't get me wrong, like we're in this country and we all benefit from the luxuries of
But
the
here's
country,
the thing. Here's
right?
the thing. We got to be honest with ourselves too. Your parents, my parents, and everyone else's parents at some point left where they were to come here. Why?
Because of the dream of the quote unquote American dream.
So they did that, right?
Mhm.
Now, are you better off or worse off because of what they did?
Well, I can't say I'm worse off. No.
So that's
No, what I'm saying is I'm not denying the luxuries. I'm not denying the luxuries of it. I know the luxuries of being in America versus being in other states, right? Whereas like the good thing about it is they're not as for lack of a better word, strict or have a form of dictatorship, like it is in some other countries.
because as we speak, there are people who are risking their lives, even knowing that Trump is president, even knowing that there are people who are waiting for them at the border to make their lives even more miserable, ship them back, or possibly kill them. But there are people who are still
Who wouldn't try to come.
trying to come as we speak.
Right.
So there is something about America that creates that drive for them to come here.
But I mean, it's a slightly different narrative because my family's been here for like generations. So slaves, then sharecroppers, and then yeah. So the I guess the way that we would view it, or the way that we have viewed it, is a little bit different because when you're dealing with Jim Crow and all that stuff, these are a lot of my family members are still alive that have lived through that. So they look at it a lot differently than somebody who may have like migrated here in the 70s and 80s. They're like crackers. It's like those, so it's a little bit different. So our view of America might be slightly different. Like not so much seeing it as a land of opportunity, even though there are opportunities that we do have here. We just it's just looked at a lot different from, I guess, our part of the diaspora than other.
So would you say that your family members are less inclined to believe in the dream or the ideal of America?
It's more of we got whatever we got in spite of what's going on here. So I have a great deal of family members, like they own land in Virginia. So there's a lot of land that's owned there. So they got that in spite of what the obstacles
But
were.
isn't that the story of all black people right now in America? Anything they got was in spite of.
Yeah, no, that is there. That's the story. But
That's messed up, but it's
they say we're gonna come to America and that's an opportunity. We're gonna bite and claw and all that stuff. And then the people that are here were like, we don't really, we don't, everything that we got. I got this, whatever piece of house I got in spite of, and when I got this house, people were trying to take it away.
So I want to talk about something along the same lines, and this has been on my mind for a long time, and I've heard people talk about it. And this is where I want to know: is it true? There are those who say that Black Americans have and those would be like the folks who were here, who were raised here, who worked here, and those folks were a lot more subject to having success because they were here. And if they don't have success, it's their own fault. That is being said by those who are immigrants who came here and then became moderately successful. And now they have a stigma, and I've seen this happen in certain circles where the immigrants or second generation, first generation folks who parents came here, they're moderately successful folks, own a business, maybe they went to school, they graduated college, whatever. And then you have the folks who are generations back in America who might not be as successful or just as successful, but somehow there's that divide there saying that, well, you're in America, you should be more successful, or the reason they don't like the immigrants because immigrants are taken away, whatever.
Yeah, well, I've heard that, especially there's a prevailing view with many people that come, like Africans or West Indians, like especially with Black American men, how we are intrinsically lazy. Like we don't do what we need to do in order to do all the stuff that we need to do. So
Blah blah blah.
blah blah blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
But in many cases, when it comes to small business loans, when it comes to going to college, when it comes to all of those things, they're easier to give. And this is, I wish I had it in front of me. But there have been many times where it's been easier for somebody that came from somewhere else to get those loans or that money than somebody that was actually here. So it's really easy in a sense to think that Black men. I'll speak as Black men because that's just how we'll work it, because I happen to be a Black man. But I think the way that we're viewed around the world is not taking into account what's going on in America. Now, there are going to be certain people that will use that to say, well, the reason I can't go anywhere is because America has treated us so. And they'll use that as an excuse not to do anything. But there are certain people, or many people, that have gone against the odds and tried to do better or to achieve more, but have hit a brick wall either because of NYPD or something happened.
So then you would say that, and granted, again, this is just a narrative that you hear as being a first generation. I was born here in Brooklyn, and when it comes down to it, if I get stopped tonight on my way home, nobody's gonna give a damn if you a Haitian nigger or an American nigger. They ain't gonna care.
Yeah.
It's gonna be,
yeah.
But with what happens, and I've seen Haitian people do this, or people of Caribbean and Africans do this, they look down on the Black American man because they feel he should have been more successful being in America versus them coming first generation. And that becomes a taboo because now, why are we even doing this? Because now we're putting ourselves against each other once more, once again, and to what end? The way I answer it is this. You can have your pockets and you could have an exception to every rule, but I believe that the folks here in America were the ones who had it way worse.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why. You take these folks and you have a system that kills them, slaves them, and puts them down for generations and generations and generations. And then they finally get a law in 1965 talking about, so they have civil rights. And then you expect them now to all of a sudden have it all together.
And, well, I mean, there's more to that as well because with slavery, especially in the West Indies, Haiti, of course, got their independence.
Oh, yeah, that's why Haitians are the most proud.
Yeah,
Haitian people think they're better than everybody else.
No, Haiti was King Francis, but, in America or the type of slavery that was in the West Indies, you're on a small island. So if they take you away from your family, you're on the same island. It's only 2 hours.
You'll find them eventually.
2 hour walk. I'm gonna get there. But if all of your family is in Virginia
and they take you to Florida,
they take you out and they take you to Florida, or they take you to Tennessee and all that stuff, you don't have that familiar bond. So when you talk about Haiti, when you talk about all of the other Western, they have a deep African root type of thing where they are very connected with their culture. America, I don't know anything about Africa. I didn't know Africa was a continent until I was like 15. And then it was like this country, it was like, it's not just Africa, there's countries there. We don't know where we came from. We don't know anything. And as a matter of fact, because we've been so ingrained in America and people are telling you, yes, you're an American. So forget about Africa, you're an American. And then we have no understanding of what our heritage is. So we lose that. We lose our language. So we can't, so now I look at somebody that's black and I don't really care that much about him because I don't look at him as family.
And for they could be
individualistic.
Related to you.
They could.
Maybe one.
Even the ones I'm related to, I don't like.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, just like, that's just, we have a very individualistic society.
What say you, Space?
I'm just looking up some stuff pertaining to what we're talking about. With some other crazy stuff, some fun facts.
What are some fun facts?
You want to know some fun facts?
Fun facts.
Well,
hour and 40 minutes? All right, cool. So we'll push
This was
it.
a heavy podcast, man.
Yeah. Well, here's a fun fact, right? You want to?
All right, we're gonna stop it with some fun facts and then do another podcast later.
And then we're gonna do. We might go to another subject. Who knows from this, right? The most sung song at weddings, right?
Step. It's gotta be Step It.
No. Oh, here's a twister. 95% of the time this song is being played, right? Saving All My Love for You. Check this.
Whitney Houston.
Check this. Whitney Houston. Sung by Whitney
That's
Houston.
an infidelity
right?
song, though.
Check it, though. But everyone sing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So all the women co-sign on this lyrics, right? They sing it all stuff, right? A few stolen moments is all that we share. You've got your family and they need you there. Though you try to resist being last on your list. Though I've tried to resist being last on your list, but no other man's going to do. So I'm saving all my love for you.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We're getting married and we're singing this.
Yeah. That's
Dope. Awesome, man.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. You don't want to start off like that. That's like
but it just shows you we're dummies to the melody. Like the words don't even matter. That's the point. The words don't matter.
Yo,
bro.
you know what we used to do
if the music is nice and you just mumble a couple of something, everybody be like, "Oh."
I remember when we used to
play
wedding gigs.
We don't know what we're talking about.
We did it on purpose. We'd start the wedding set with a song by Usher.
I'm playing, but
You remind me of a girl.
Yeah.
That
I once knew, right? And they love it, right?
People not even think about it.
See, people don't understand. It ain't the words don't.
I heard one time there was a song that was played by Al Green. It's like, if loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Yes.
I was like, that sounds good, but when you listen to the words, he's talking about.
What about? I mean, there's a bunch of songs. Me and Mr. Jones. Even Marvin Gaye, Sexual Healing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard he's singing
lyrics,
that to
yeah.
a 15-year-old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this stuff has been going on.
So
for a
then
long time.
now, why ain't nobody uproar on Marvin Gaye's and banning his song?
Well,
Why ain't nobody trying to mute Marvin Gaye?
Because he
But
did
they trying to
killed
mute.
by his dad. So
Huh?
Yeah, he kind of got killed by his
He
dad.
kind of got so it's
And then
Okay. Because he got killed by that, it's okay.
And,
well, he's dead now.
Oh, he's dead.
and the 15-year-old is probably
Wow.
pretty old at this point.
They're banning Mike's song. They're trying to mute Mike. They're trying to mute R. Kelly. Why not mute Marvin Gaye? Matter of fact, mute every damn artist.
Everybody
on the face.
Turn it
of
all
the-
off. Shut it all down.
There's no more music for no one. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're gonna go there,
Well, look, let's be real.
Elvis
You
was a pedophile.
You brought up a good point. If we need our musicians and those guys to be perfect for us to listen to their music, then there will be no music.
There's no music, man. So there's no Star Spangled Banner either.
It's hard. No, being a musician is hard. I'm not one, but you have that, huh? Well, yeah, in college. How old am I, sir?
Yo, here's the thing. I think this is worthwhile, right? Here's the thing here's the phenomenon about music, man, that is so crazy, right? It's a unspoken. I need a really good word to explain this, yo. It has, like, for example, right? You listen to this song, nobody cares about what the words are going, but something about the music seduces you, right, into the record, right? So now you have this dichotomy where it's like, here's the man, the person, and here's the man, the person that creates the music, right? You penalize the man, but you also want to penalize the music. But they both coexist, right?
Oh.
They both coexist, right? And they both are real, are two real entities. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, you can't, like, you try to separate the two. You understand what I'm saying? In terms of saying, like, oh, this is him, the person, but this is him, the music, right? Mm-hmm. But I feel like a lot of times, like, we pick and choose, right?
Yeah, we do.
Like, when we want to say this is him, the thing was the music, according to what we like, according to what we think, like, you know, according to our favorite song that we love that we don't really want to let go of, but we know that he was molesting like a 13-year-old. But we love that song, right? So now we say the song is bigger than the person, right? So what I'm saying is it possible to have these two people completely coexist? Like, Michael Jackson is, like, you know, I remember Fico was saying this, 'cause he's completely, like, we were exploring the thought, right? He's completely 100% might love children, but then could completely 100% thinks it's, you know, I want to sleep with them. Like, I love little boys. Then completely 100% would write about a woman that he loves as well. Then completely 100%, right, write about that, you know, he has some baby mama drama somewhere, right, saying that Billie Jean is not my child, right? She was a girl.
Who says?
Who says I was the one, right? So
With the
now
kid.
he's all these person, right? He's all these persons. So is it possible to have all these persons within one person exist all at the same time?
Here's the thing. It is. And the reason it is because you are a father, you are a musician, you are a producer, you are a conductor, you are a teacher, you are someone who studies religion, you're someone who studies music, you're someone who does all these different things. And at any given moment, Space Jones is operating in the context of one of those things or even more. Now, the problem is when, God forbid, Space Jones ever loses his mind and does something like R. Kelly or Michael Jackson have been accused of, all those people get indicted. All of them do. And that's what we suffer.
That's the thing. Why should all of them get indicted? Because if that's the case, then we're not doing anything anymore, because everybody's guilty of everything.
Yeah.
We just haven't been caught yet.
Yeah. Or some of us are just better at
lying.
covering it up.
Yeah, but I mean,
So then it's okay to lie, as long as you're good at it.
No.
No, I'm saying you just said some of us are better, so that means it's good. So ignorance is bliss. Is that a real thing? Is that a great thing?
To a certain extent.
You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, should it even be a moral question? Is like for a person that didn't rape anybody, am I now morally restricted from listening to the Thriller album because Mike allegedly touched some kids?
Well,
I said allegedly.
Did they ever get convicted of that? Mike never did.
No,
the FBI cleared him. Actually,
So Mike is allegedly.
Yeah. Well,
But
I mean, or even
see that face right there just told me everything, dude. You believe Mike did it?
Hey, listen, they not my kids.
Oh, okay. So you're suing some.
So look, I'm gonna keep it 100, yo. I'm gonna keep it all the way funky right now. The thing about that, again, how does a 6-year-old boy get to Neverland?
The parents again.
Okay, then. So then that's where we at.
We're back on the
with
parents
that.
again.
Yeah. How does a 6-year-old boy get to Neverland?
The parents. Mike talked to Mike.
Like, who thought Michael Jackson would be a good babysitter? Like, hey, me and the wife are gonna go out. So, hey, Mike, we got this kid. I know you like kids, and you got a Ferris wheel. So we gonna leave the kid at your house. Like, who does that?
You got some monkeys.
Not funny, yo. Hey,
you got a giraffe.
Me laugh, dude.
You got a
It's
zoo.
not funny.
It's not funny. Why you laughing?
You got
Why
a
you
train that goes around the house.
No, but let's be funky about it. Come on, let's talk about it for real. I'm saying, I know Mike. If this is true of what Mike did, it's a horrible thing, and I just don't like the way that the earth is right now. Where if somebody does something, and then you said, hey, somebody hears you singing "Beat It," like all of a sudden you're an asshole. Like I'm singing. Cool. I happen to like "Beat It."
No, but see, look, this is the thing. There's so much hypocrisy on so many different levels. It's ridiculous. like the hypocrisy that we are seeing in our society today is just it's beyond the beyond. So we're gonna put R. Kelly in jail again. I believe he should go for the next 20, 30 years for sleeping with these women that or
so
these
then
children.
go get Elvis Presley's family.
Let me
and
finish.
Mark all them up.
Let me finish.
Like seriously.
But here's the flip side of that. You know how many kids get abused every day that we just let go? I mean, it's only
Hundreds,
now
thousands even, probably.
like the Catholic priest thing. Like
right, go lock all them up.
You know, there's so the
Go
level
lock
of
Father Joe up.
hypocrisy is just beyond the scope right now. And I think that's what people are really upset about when it comes to this R. Kelly thing or the black thing versus Harvey Weinstein versus other folks. It's because here it goes again, where we're about to throw the whole book or all the books, the damn library we're about to throw at this R. Kelly guy, where the other guys just get talking to.
Right. We get a little slap on his hand real quick.
Yeah. So, I mean, the question would be, like, as upset as they're getting over pedophilia, it's like, they were little children. They were children. Well, do we really care about children, or is it only for a segment of society that we care about?
They only care. I agree with that.
So
they don't
remember,
care about black girls.
So I'm gonna take it back.
No, they don't care about black girls.
No, I'm gonna take it back. You know what made the OJ case so crazy, and why the country is so divided? Black folks were like, we finally get the same justice that white folks get. Because we knew
we got away.
We
Because
knew
everybody
OJ was
know
guilty.
OJ did it.
Yeah,
We knew he did it, yo. We knew he did it.
We're like, finally, we got away with one, right? Oh, boy.
No,
Yeah, that's
finally
sick,
we were treated just like white people who have money get treated.
Ooh, white folks was mad. They still mad.
Damn.
It's sad. Yeah. But I'll never forget. I was in high school, and I mean, people lost their minds. Black folks were so happy. And I'm like, wait a minute. What are they so happy about? Because I really didn't get it.
Right.
But then as I got a little older, studied a little bit more history, of course they were happy. This is the first time the system was fair for them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, historically, they killed a 13-year-old black boy for whistling at a white girl. So, for somebody to get away with murdering a white girl, we was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Now, we're not happy about murder, but whoa, that's new. We didn't know how to act. I was in high school then too, but I understood.
I guess I know we're talking a lot about a lot of things and different subjects, but that's the essence of white privilege. The essence of white privilege for me is white folks getting upset that OJ got off, knowing full well that
happens
all the time for white folks who can afford the lawyers.
Who can afford it? Afford
the lawyers,
yeah.
And this is, I think that our country's finding a place where we're discussing it. It makes a lot of white people very uncomfortable. It makes a lot of people uncomfortable because now we're talking about how you're gonna hold these black celebrities accountable when white celebrities are doing the same thing. How you gonna put all these black folks on this standard when you guys have a different standard? And the whole thing about the equality thing that we talked about, the whole thing about where our country is going, is that equality has to happen on some level for us to sustain the America that we say we have.
But think of the messed up part of it. It's so bad. The American justice system is so bad. We have to look at a woman getting murdered and a black guy getting off as a victory.
Yes, it is that bad.
Yeah.
Like, you see how morbid that is? Like, whoa, she got murdered. He got away with it? Victory. There was people like dancing in the streets. Yeah. But think of how bad the American justice system has to be in order for us to look at that as a victory.
I mean, we know that though.
Yeah, but we know
we just refuse to admit
there's
it.
There's a statistic out there.
We know it ain't made for us. We know
that.
that.
There's a statistic
we know,
out there.
You know, he'd have the gold, make the rules.
The only reason OJ won is because he could afford to get the trial.
Right.
95% of folks who are accused of any felony or above plead out because they can't afford lawyers and stuff like that.
Yeah, we look.
That's crazy. Fun fact.
This kid. Go ahead.
Fun fact. One of the lawyers on the Dream Team was Robert Kardashian, and that was the first time a Kardashian worked well for a black person. I'm sorry. That was it.
Hey, I think Kanye would disagree with you.
Would he though?
Kanye seems to be happy, yo.
Yeah, but I think Kanye kind of. 1 hour 56. All right, I think
we got like 4 minutes and we're about to be
I think Kanye kind of like balanced out the crazy. Like I think he overruled like to the point where Kim is like, "Come on, Kanye." Kanye's just
make America great again.
Yo, guys, look, man. I like Kanye, man.
Hey, man, I saw the Sunday Kanye.
I like Kanye, yo.
The Sunday
Kanye might not have his all his words together.
His facilities.
But I like Kanye, bro. I don't care, man. People might say, "Hey, I don't care, yo."
No, here's the problem with Kanye.
Like
I'll
him,
just tell you straight up.
I like him.
Kanye's ego is so big that it cannot excuse.
Is it an ego though?
No,
Here's the thing.
It is.
Let me give you one point, right?
You don't have the answer, Space.
I don't.
You don't have the answers.
I don't. But no, we're gonna take another minute to tell me this. We're gonna take this. There are some things.
Just keep it going.
There are some things that he said where I was like, "What?" I said, like for example, he's talking about Trump. Trump gave, it's like my papa, like it gives me type of thing, right? So I'm like, okay, that's the hurt Kanye talking, right? Saying another man resembles something like a father figure, right? Because that's the person that probably grew up and then I could get where that's coming from, right? So I don't judge too harshly on that. But, dude, he's advocating like a liberated mind, bro. You know what I'm saying? And even for us as black people, that's foreign. Because you know why, dude? We've been so programmed, bro.
Look, here's the thing. I agree.
And
but he has to be responsible too.
Yeah, I'm not. Look, nobody. So then, here's my thing, though. Why are we holding Kanye to this standard of being responsible?
No.
But let some white folk come tell you the same jargon, and you're like, hee ha ha. This is good for us.
Not me.
But not you per se. But the majority of son. Let some white folk be saying the same thing. We wouldn't be judging. Like, why do we take our own, right, and we're so quick to judge and tear down, bro. I still think there's something there as far as like the whole concept of crab in the barrel. It's the fact is, we see him as this figure that appears to be keep climbing up, right? But yet we don't have anything on him yet, right? So the whole thing to do is like, all right, you know what? Well, he said this. Well, he might have a point. Or man, he has a lot of balls for saying this. But nah, man, we got to find a little thing about him. Dude, nobody's ever going to say anything perfect. Nobody's ever going to be completely perfect.
I think the problem that I have is you got to be, when I say you got to be responsible, when you have a platform like Kanye has, and you understand who Donald Trump is and what he stands for, and you understand where we are politically, and you align yourself with that, not understanding the full story or understanding how his agenda affects black folks and how his agenda affects folks that look just like you.
Right.
That's the problem I have with him.
I agree. Like the responsibility, the responsibility part. Anybody that has a platform has some type of responsibility, right? To choose their words carefully, and blah 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 blah. Right? Okay. Here comes Kanye. Right? I wish we had a system where we could reprimand or try to correct or try to guide, destroying. Right? Without destroying in the presence, right, of who we're trying to, like we're trying to say, like we're saying that, okay, they're oppressing us, right? But yet they're not really doing the oppressing. We are on each other. You understand what I'm saying? In that sense, because it's almost like, okay, fine, he didn't say this. Okay, fine, he's doing this. Fine, he's doing that. Fine, he's doing that. Right? But the point is, he has enough cojones, right, to get up there and do that, though. Right? None of y'all ain't doing that. What are you really saying? Not because you don't have enough cojones, right, or balls, rather, to do that. Now you want to nitpick on every little thing he does. Come on, man. Like.
I think the big issue with Kanye is when Trump got into office, and I'll say this to our shame, when Trump got into office, he was blackballed out of the gate. They were saying, well, if you do anything for Trump, like Chrisette Michele, she's a perfect example. She played for the inauguration of Trump. She's been black.
Yeah, she got killed. She got killed for that.
Killed. But here's the difference: when Kanye did it, because he was stumping for Trump harder, and he didn't apologize. She did. He didn't apologize. The moment he comes out with the Sunday Kanye thing, everybody's like, "Oh, Kanye's back and ready." So he's using R. Kelly type of thing. Because we'll forget about a kid. We'll forget about a kid if you say come out with a gospel song.
With a great song, yeah.
Yeah, if you come out with a great song, we'll forget about the kid. So in that, we're a little fickle. I'm talking
little.
Dude, we're completely fickle, dude.
Yeah, completely.
It's like
I believe I can fly away from these charges.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. And when he came out with the gospel album, they were calling him saved after that. I'm like, yo, like black folks are just it's fickle.
And that's the thing. So then withhold judgment. Like, see, the thing is, we don't have a system by which we can reprimand or correct or guide, right, our people that happen to have these platforms. That, like, if I would have loved it if we had a system, an internal system, where we can make these things without doing it in the public.
But you know what that would be called?
You know what I'm saying? What?
We would have exactly what white folks have.
Well, that's what it is. That's what they do, because you will never see white people would defend their own, knowing that they're guilty, to the grave. You know why? It's for a greater cause. It's always for a greater cause. We, black folk, don't believe in that. We would be quick to chastise each other in a heartbeat, right? And
Publicly.
And dude, like, as much as I'm not saying that I support Kanye, I believe everything he says. No, I don't agree with every single thing that he does. But what I'm saying is, it says something, right, when we're quick to do that, right, on our own, and not willing to figure out how to internally handle this issue, right? Because it tells me more about like, yo, dude, it's about this thing where it's like it's more stemmed from jealousy as opposed to like.
I give it up to T.I. T.I. tried to talk to him but see, here's the problem. Then became in the public eye again. The thing is, it's the oldest story in the book, and for us black folk, it's even more.
Right.
Star Rises. It's almost like skeet shooting.
Mm-hmm.
I throw you up in the air to see how quickly I can shoot you down.
Right.
That's.
Speaking of Mike,
It's like I said, it's like skeet shooting. I throw you up in the air, and I see how quickly I can shoot you down. And black folks, unfortunately, we've gotten used to that cycle. We perpetrate that cycle.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the way the media works and the way everything works, the minute we see black folks on TV, on any news shows, with any alleged accusation, we believe they're guilty already.
Yeah.
we have an issue with ourselves, man.
And
It's not Kanye, yo. Kanye exposes our issues. You know why? Because how a man
How
would
dare you
about,
think differently than me?
Yeah, because
expected
we're
to be
like
Democrats.
because we see his actions as being so egregious, right? But you gotta ask yourself a question though, right? Why is he so willing to wear a mega hat and call another white man father figure? Think about that, dude. Think about what that says about your own race. You understand what I'm saying? Like you gotta put yourself in that position. Like, why would you do that in the first place? You know, why would you why are you calling another white man like a father? Kanye, you had a father, and if you had a father, there's a lot of other black men that are in the 60s or 70s that you could
Well,
probably
did any
look
of
at.
those guys reach out to him?
That's what I'm saying. It's an indictment on us
there was a lot
as
of
black folk.
fatherlessness
It's not
in it,
you know, it's not just Kanye is this person, because you know why? It's easy. He's an easy target. You know what I'm saying? So now you see, it's like the church. Oh, here's the sin. You see the sin? You see that? Like, you know, a 16-year-old girl getting pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Like what you talked about earlier. Like we pick and choose, right? But I don't see anybody getting up there, right? Which is why I have a lot of respect for Colin Kaepernick, by the way, right? Because that's the first time I've ever seen an athlete be willing to risk his job, right, to stand for something that he actually believes in. So what I'm saying is, with our race,
No, he
I
didn't
don't
know
see-
he was gonna lose his job though.
I'm sure he had an idea. And even at the time where he had a chance to restore it, he didn't restore it. Like, he had a chance to say sorry, like they wanted
Like
you to
all
say.
of them do.
Yeah, and he didn't do it. So the fact that he didn't do that is okay. Kudos to you that you're willing to risk something that you worked for all your life, right, and lose money just for that. My thing is, like, we're so quick to tear somebody else's down, but nobody else has the balls to get up and do that too. You know, are you gonna get up T.I. or are you gonna get up everybody else and say some stuff like that?
Yeah,
You know,
I think Kanye's big problem, or why there was so much backlash, is one, they expect every black person to vote Democrat. That's just how
you think
it
that's
works.
what they had him on?
Yeah. Basically.
I thought it was the whole thing. I thought it all started when TMZ, when he had the whole TMZ interview, and they were like, "Yo, you're saying that slavery was a choice?"
No, it was
Yeah,
before
well, no,
that.
that was
I
weird.
thought
I
that's
can't
where
roll.
it's
Yeah,
you know, it
yeah.
snowballed into a whole bunch of.
It snowballed into that, but originally, any person that came, especially a black person, any black person that came to Trump's defense was instantly they was coming for your head.
Excoriated.
Yeah,
Destroyed.
they was coming for your head. So in that respect, where Kanye was talking about the groupthink of black folks, I agreed with.
Okay, he supports Trump, right? Let me ask you this: who who benefited from these last two candidates? Did we benefit from Obama more, or did we benefit from Trump more?
We're not going to benefit from either one.
Well, no, there's something that happened. I mean, I'm not saying that there's something that happened, bro. There's some changes. There's some big changes that were made. So, did black people benefit from Obamacare, and Obama? All
No,
that
I think
stuff,
the
right?
idea of Obama is
it's
more
more the
important
idea.
than what his policies were.
Right.
Because at the end of
So
the day,
all right. So then let me rephrase it. Then, did Obama institute anything in motion? Because we all know no one president, can make all these changes, right? It all starts from previous president that put these implements these, like, these laws or these ideas, right? So did Obama implement an idea in motion that can help the cause of black people, as far as jobs?
Here's the deal.
As far as jobs is concerned.
No, I'm gonna keep 100. I'm gonna say it.
No, did he? Do anybody know that?
I'm gonna keep 100.
Okay.
I love Obama. You know why I love Obama?
Mm-hmm.
Because here's a guy who was clearly who wasn't just a white person, but was somebody of color who had his family together, no scandal in his office. But this is the part where I might get killed for saying this. Nobody's gonna mistake Obama for a civil rights leader.
Mm-hmm.
He was not the one leading the cause for black people. And he could have, but it would have hurt his presidency because obviously he has to be president for everybody.
Yes.
Now, on the surface, did he pick up the mantle of Dr. King? Was he Malcolm X in the Oval Office? No, not at all.
He couldn't be.
We couldn't be. Could he have done more? I don't know. Do I feel he should have done more? I wish I could have seen more. Maybe I could have seen more. Maybe the press could have covered more. Maybe he could have found a way to emphasize what he's doing for his community. Mm-hmm. But all that withstanding, the mere fact that he became president is good enough for me.
How though?
Because it lets me know, despite all the prejudices and all of that, a guy named Barack Obama or a guy named Mustafa Jones or a guy named Corin, whatever it is, can also become president. Now, just me saying it doesn't make it happen. There's a whole bunch of things that need to go into that. There's education that needs to happen. There's upbringing, blah, 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 blah. But it is possible.
Yeah, well, my question would be, is the symbolism enough? So if you have a black person in the office, you can have 1 billion black people. I mean, we got 2 black people running in the on the Democratic ticket now. You got Cory Booker and you got Kamala Harris. The fact that they're black and they get into office, if you're not getting anything in response to that, then why?
I think this is, we're having 2 different arguments. No, the symbolism isn't never enough. Mm-hmm. It's never going to be enough just to have the idea of it. However, knowing where we are as a country, knowing that, okay, for example, I'm going to just explain it this way. There are people who get shot just because they're black, right? Well, there are people now who are in office who are also black. That, to me, helps. That helps right there. Now, is that enough? No, but it's a start that we didn't have before. Now, do you follow what I'm saying?
I follow what you're saying.
No, I see what you're saying. So did Trump implement things to help black people?
Look, I'm gonna just answer it this way. I'm a New Yorker, all right? I remember when Trump put out the ad to have those boys strung up who didn't rape nobody, but they were accused of it. I know people who tried to rent from Trump's family when they were doing all these buildings and they had all these apartment buildings they were owning, and they couldn't get in because they were black. I know, I've seen these things with my eyes. So am I going to say Trump did anything for black people? I don't know. I haven't seen.
Are there more jobs?
For me?
No, in general.
Are there?
There's supposedly there are, yeah.
Supposedly there's a significant amount.
And I mean, as far as Trump, he's had the conversation about prison reform. I don't remember anybody doing that, but whatever. I mean, I'm kind of jaded when it comes to
again. We're gonna have a huge political debate. No, of course, there's gonna be more jobs when you've given all your billionaire friends tax breaks. When we have a situation where the government is trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. Again, this is supposed to be a Republican administration. Again, I'm just going to say it. I'm not a big Trump fan. No. Never have been, never will be, for lots of other reasons, even before he became president. And I just don't like, I don't think that, and again, this might not be part of the conversation, but I'll say this. I hate the fact that the office of the president is the prestige has gone so far down. We're not even talking about what he's doing for black folks because we're not.
Well, again, I'm glad. Look, I agree, I could agree with a lot of things you say. Because it's good sense if you pay attention to it. That's a reflection of America, though. See, America, it has been exactly what you're talking about, right? Here's the thing: you paint this picture of this person, this prestige of look, right? But the guy is an asshole, always been. But you know why? As soon as I get a nice suit and dress it up all nice, right, you're going to believe me to be that good person. And that's how I change laws right underneath your nose without you knowing, right? And then implement these sanctions to benefit me and my boys, right? But you don't know what's going on because I smile and I give you a good suit, right? And that's been our history. So now here comes Trump. Trump is a direct reflection of what we really are. And now everybody's mad. What you mad at? That's who we were in the beginning. What you're talking about, people? Like, that is America. That's us.
I can agree.
We're ugly.
Yeah.
We're sloppy.
Yeah.
That's who we really are. So that's like, if you really want to keep it 100, that's who. Look at Trump and say that is America.
Trump is America.
You know what I'm saying? And don't get mad at it though, because it's always been there. It's just been dressed up in suits and smiles and written speeches for the government, for the president to say. It's not his own thoughts. It's rarely his own thoughts. It's written speeches that goes through a series of editing process, bro. When was the last time a president spoke from his heart? It doesn't happen. We have a problem with Trump because Trump is speaking from his heart because we're not used to that. We're so programmed, yo. Dude, we're like a bunch of zombies just walking around, bro.
I have a question. I have a question for you.
It's crazy to me. No, but listen to my point. We're like a bunch of zombies, bro. We've been sitting up there just programmed. Like, yes, this is good, this is bad, and don't even understand
Can you see
the stuff the stuff that's going on underneath. But like, here's the thing I feel like a good 90% of our beings are like zombies. And the last little 10%, we have that face like,
what's going on?
What's really going on? But we're so zombied up, right?
I would just go down.
Yeah, exactly. We're so programmed, we can't really operate in that 10%. We you know what? This is too much thinking. It takes too much analyzing to figure out, like, if, you know what? Let me just go back. And it's easy for us to go back.
So you mean we're all plugged into the matrix?
We've all plugged in, bro. We're all plugged in. Every single last one of us.
We don't care what somebody says as long as it sounds good.
Let me address that thing. Why do people buy stuff? Ansy, come on, man. We're musicians. Look, go in an elevator, people. I'm looking at the camera. Go in the elevator and go to Sears. What music is playing in the elevator? Soft music. Soft music to massage your little emotions into buying freaking empty out your whole bank account, bro. It's nothing new under the sun. It's been happening. If I dress it up nice, you will buy it. Point blank. The same system goes for politician. I'm a dick, but I'm gonna dress that dick up real good in a suit, and you're gonna buy it and you're gonna eat it.
Hey Sean,
right?
Sean, hey, Faku, how many times have we said dick in this podcast?
You're probably 100.
So this is
that should be the title. The Dick Podcast.
This is the Dick Cast.
This is the Dick Podcast. No, seriously though, dude. Yeah, we gotta close. We gotta close.
All right, we gotta close.
Yo, but no, it's been real, man. It's just, these conversations are
Wait,
crazy.
I got one question before you close.
What?
Did you vote for Trump?
Hell no.
You don't have to answer.
But no, I didn't. But you know what? I'm objective enough to look at the entire pie.
I've been voting third party since I came out. Since I started voting, always third party.
I don't believe in the system.
Yeah, well, we have a long.
I'm here to take it down.
Yeah.
Don't say that out loud, man. This might be
Power to the people.
Yeah, we all know you're joking. Yo, and that's all, folks. We out. We out.
All right, bye. You guys are crazy, yo.